Hello there. Oh my goodness, how I love Thursday because I can smell the weekend just a day away from Thursday. My name is Emefa Akosia Adeti and a warm welcome to the AM show. Today on the AM show, of course, we shall bring you all and everything that's happening in the news. We'll bring you some updates in sports, what we call the AM sports. And in the news, we shall review it properly. And on News Review today, we've got Dr. Joshua Zato, Senior Lecturer, Political Analyst from the University of Ghana, and as well Dixon Chiradua, NP Brekum West, as well as Nana Yao Sapon, Movement for Change, to be reviewing all of the stories that may have happened in front of the newspaper and even beyond. And on the big stories today, we'll bring you an exclusive interview with a former ambassador to the Netherlands, Dr. Aidoo. You want to stay glued to your set as my colleague Kojo Braze engages him on a host of issues of national interest in this very fascinating interview. And as well, government to embark on a regional quota recruitment into the security services to create opportunity for all. What is the socio-political impact of this move, and how does this change the face of security in the country? Plus, the twists and turns in the fight against Galamsey, as small-scale miners call out the political actors and demand the return of the unlawful seizure of their excavators and an end to extortion. You want to join us with your thoughts and comments via phone and also on all of our social media handles, myjoyonline.com as well. You want to stay with us for everything here on the AM show. A warm reminder that the AM show is sponsored by Waylead Properties. We provide quality housing at an affordable cost and with a flexible payment option as well. So good morning once again. Take a seat and let's get into it. The AM news comes up shortly. You're watching the AM show. Time now for some news updates. We start with the minority in Parliament as it's demanding the immediate dismissal of Youth Employment Agency CEO Malik Basintale and Minerals Development Fund boss Hannah Bisu over what they say is their glorification of the chaos at the Ablekuma North constituency rerun last Friday. They've also called for a full-scale investigation into the violence that characterized the election rerun. Parliamentary Affairs correspondent Kekwa Santi reports.
The Public Financial Management Act has been amended on a couple of occasions, but never through a private member's bill. Former Information Minister Kojo Nkrumah is seeking to make sweeping changes to it by way of a private member's bill. First, he wants the law amendment to proscribe MDAs from getting any public funds if their programs and policies have not been certified by the NDPC.
A number of ministries, departments and agencies are not going through this. And that is a loophole in the law that I seek to block with this amendment. So this amendment has about 3 clauses. First, barring the Minister for Finance from funding any ministry, department or agency that has not had its development plan.
Malik Basintale and Hannah Bisu are 2 government officials that have come under the scrutiny of the minority in Parliament. They are demanding that they are sacked from office because, according to the minority, they celebrated and glorified the violence at Ablekuma North.
The most disturbing aspect of the Ablekuma North violence is not just the brutality itself, but the deliberate endorsement and celebration of these attacks by senior government officials. For example, Dr. Hannah Bisu, Louisa Bisu, National Women's Organizer of the NDC, and CEO of the Minerals Development Fund, provided perhaps the most damaging response with her statement that violence begets violence.
According to the minority, their dismissal from office will signal the President, John Dramani Mahama's commitment to dealing with electoral violence.
The immediate dismissal of violence endorsing officials. President Mahama must immediately dismiss Dr. Hannah Louisa Bisu from her position as CEO of the Minerals Development Fund and Malik Basintale from his role as acting CEO of the Youth Employment Agency. Their celebration and justification of violence against opposition figures disqualifies them from holding any public office.
The minority have also been taking aim at the Ghana police for their failure to rein in the violence at Ablekuma North.
The Ghana Police Service's response raises serious questions about their preparedness and commitment to protecting our electoral process. Security personnel were overwhelmed by the perpetrators, failing to prevent these attacks on political figures, party agents, and journalists. More concerning are allegations surrounding Chief Superintendent Lumor Frederick Senanu and his potential role in facilitating these disruptions. The targeting of journalists during the Ablekuma North parliamentary rerun represents a particularly grave assault on press freedom. A Joy News reporter was physically assaulted, while GH1 TV journalist Ajekum Banahin was attacked by a police officer.
Minority say in the coming days they're going to use all tools at their disposal in Parliament and outside of it to ensure that these demands that they have made are met. Reporting for Joy News, Kweku Asante, Parliament House, Accra.
From Parliament House, I'll take you to WA, where Cluster Programs Manager of World Vision Ghana, Sergio Before, has expressed worry over the increase in the rate of stunting among children in the Upper West region. Speaking at the launch of the Enough campaign at Wichau in the WA West District, Sergio noted that the current statistics is worrying and calls for immediate action to reduce stunting, which is caused by lack of nutritious food and child hunger. Joy News Upper West Regional Correspondent Rafiq Salam reports.
Churning out statistics from the United Nations Children Education Fund, UNICEF, Programs Manager of the World Cluster of the World Vision Ghana, Sergio Before, 2.4 million children under 5 years are living under food poverty. He, however, noted that while significant progress has been made in reducing child stunting, with standard rates of dropping from 33% in 1993 to 17% in 2022. He posited that a large number of children goes to bed on empty stomachs, which he said is unacceptable. Narrowing the issue of malnutrition to the Upper West region, Sergio Before said it is widespread and much more prevalent in children under 5 years, using the following survey to back his claim.
The Ghana Demographic and Health Survey and the Multiple Indicators Cluster Survey, the data for the region indicated that the rate of stunting among children declined from 22.5% in 2008 to 14.6% in 2017, but sharply increased to about 16% in 2022. This calls for immediate action to reduce stunting, which is caused mainly by lack of nutritious food and child hunger.
Concerned about the situation, World Vision Ghana last year launched the Enough campaign to help address the huge national and global challenge of child hunger and malnutrition. It is aimed at achieving two objectives. First is to ensure that children are visible and head in hunger, nutrition and food security related policies at all levels, and second, to have more children enjoy better food security, nutrition, and resilience through prioritized services. The campaign is to complement the effort of the government and other development actors towards ending child hunger, malnutrition in the country, and for that matter, the northern Gulf of the country. World Vision Ghana coordinator of the Enough campaign, Barbara Sari, launched a campaign.
So we are saying that enough. Our children have to eat before they go to school. Enough. We don't want any record of malnutrition in this district because we have enough nutritious food. We have local fowls, we have goats, we have cattle and all that. We don't want to see the children going through hunger anymore. It is enough.
About 35 communities in the World West and its districts will benefit from the campaign. The two beneficiary districts had their DCEs present at the launch.
The core message is clear. We have enough to ensure that no child goes hungry. The effects of malnutrition on our children's health, cognitive development, and future prospects are of paramount concern to us.
The launch also witnessed exhibition of indigenous nutritious rich food comprising of tumpani, trozafi with green leaves, drama by children from basic schools on the impact of hunger on children's education, and stakeholders signing up their commitment to the campaign. Reporting for Joy News, Rafik Salam, Wochao.
Now, former national chairman of the New Patriotic Party, Freddie Blay, has declared his support for the party's 2024 flag bearer, Dr. Mahama, as the best candidate to lead the party into the 2028 elections. Now, speaking on PM Express with Evans Mensah, Mr. Blay, who becomes the first member of the NPP's National Council of Elders to publicly endorse a candidate, described Dr. Bawumia as the most marketable candidate among those seeking to lead the party.
Definitely, I have an opinion.
No, you're just a member of the National Council.
Yes.
You must have an opinion.
I definitely have an opinion.
Yes.
Definitely have
do you
an
support
opinion.
any of the aspirants?
I do.
Bawumia?
Definitely.
You support Bawumia?
I support Bawumia.
Why?
Well, I think he's best marketed. The candidate that I have not changed my opinion about the ideas that he had for this country. I think maybe we did not do the marketing very well. And we allow propaganda and agitation to cloud some people's perception. And for that matter, they did not consider him for the best. But let's give him a little more time. And let's see what other people are doing with regards to our economy and governance. Then, of course, people in this country will see for what it is. I have not changed my opinion about him.
Now, touching on the party's reforms, he said the demands for changes are driven by the rank and file of the party and not necessarily an agenda being pushed by a certain bloc within the system.
Resetting what? Resetting what? We have a constitution. No, please don't talk about resetting. If people have an idea that what resetting
is it the word reset that you have a quarrel with, or the fact that you need to reform?
Well, if you want to talk about reform, that's an I understand.
So is the word you have a quarrel?
No. If you say you want to reform, but even then, as I said, we are not reforming the party. The party isn't gone into some that you say reform. We are making changes, yes.
Yeah, that's what you
propose. And the proposal for changes come from the members.
Yeah.
For anybody to sit down and say that you have to reset it, you have to reform, nothing is gone absolutely wrong. Maybe, as
There's
I said,
everything wrong with the NPP.
Huh?
There's everything wrong with your party now.
That's from your perspective.
No, it's not.
No, please.
The 2024 elections says it all.
No, listen.
The outcome
this is not the first time we've gone for an election and lost.
No, nobody has lost the way you lost in the 2024 election.
Before 2024, the NDC had not lost the way they lost.
Yes, but you've topped that. That's my point.
No, we could maybe the next time they may be reduced.
We don't have a maybe yet. The reality
listen, you can't predict. This is election.
For the first time, because you were deputy speaker first, and let me go back there. For the first time, you have a party in parliament right now with an absolute majority, 2/3. Never happened before. Because
maybe you don't know. Maybe you don't know. 1992.
Yeah, that's an outlier. No, we don't count that. I mean,
let me tell you. You made a very.
You didn't contest.
We didn't contest.
Yes.
1996, we were 65 out of 150. You don't know.
Yeah, but
no. You said this is the first time.
Was that 2/3?
No, wait.
At the time,
150. And we had less than NPP had less than 65. It's about 65 if you put the minorities together. That's what happened. So it was an overwhelming.
Now, the Marigold Foundation is committed to improving lives by advancing health awareness and services in rural communities with the theme, Awareness is Power. Screening gives you the knowledge to act. The foundation, in partnership with community leaders and other stakeholders, is championing the importance of routine health checkups as part of everyday life. Speaking during a free health screening exercise in Junuho in the Agonot-Swedro, the CEO of the foundation, Justina Marigold Asan, stressed that good health is a founding block for sustainable development.
The free health screening and outreach in the Junuho community in the Agona West municipality was a collaborative venture between the Marigold Foundation, Pleasant Valley Global, and Healing Hearts and Hands. In an interview, the CEO of the Marigold Foundation, Justina Marigold Asan, urged people to utilize health facilities fully, encouraging routine medical checkups.
So today's exercise is a very unique one. And then when we finish, we'll give you drugs, and they are for free. We are not taking any peso from anybody. So we are doing this together with the Honorable to be able to help our people to be healthy. Because if our people are healthy, then you can be sure that the development of the area is also going to double up. Sometimes, quite unfortunate, where our hospitals are, people don't have access to their places, and so would sit at home, then it becomes worse before they seek medical attention. When you wait till that time, it will be very difficult for the nurses or the doctors to take care of you. Sometimes not because you are even sick, but it should be part of us, that maybe in every 6 months, in every year, you can visit the hospital or any medical facility to check yourself to know that indeed you are healthy. And so if you know you are healthy, then you can think of anything, working, doing this, doing that, to support yourself and the family. So it is important for all of us to take good care of ourselves so that we'll be able to help develop this country. So we are calling on individuals, groups who have it, to come and partner with us to be able to give back to the society.
The Agona West Municipal Health Director, Dr. Joyce Mamesi Dakwa, reiterating the advice of regular checkups, shared hopes of the screening becoming a more frequent activity.
It has been very fruitful. We're hoping that this will not be a one-time occasion, that will become here more frequently. And then we're also hoping that our citizens equally will also contribute more. They would check up more. This won't be just also a one-time checkup. The business facilities also do follow-up for their health as well.
Daniel Kojo Kretia is Assemblyman of Junuho. He has a vision of ensuring his community is free from any disease outbreaks.
I've put it in my mind that because of all these things, I want to make sure that when it comes to sickness, Junuho will be out, or any outbreak, Junuho will be out. That is why I'm always close to any health organization that are preaching about health. So we thank Honorable Marigold Asan. We thank her a lot. We thank her a lot about this successful health screening. He has been honored me and Junuho people.
The health screening and outreach involved 5 communities and targets thousands of people to benefit. From Junuho, Abigail Lissel in Chroma reports for Joy News.
And just like that, the Ghana Senior High School is back in the NSMQ Nationals after stepping in for Sagagu SHTS, who pulled out the Northeast Region qualifiers. The Tamale Bay School made the most of the opportunity, scoring 59 points to top the contest and maintain their unbeaten qualification record. Although Mpurugu SHTS came second with 23 points, they qualified to represent the Northeast region at both the zonal and national championships, since Ghana SHS hails from the northern region.
If you were them, you are going to be excited like how they are, because they were nearly knocked out of the championship, that they will not make it to the national championship for the first time in their history yesterday when they lost to Kapohine by just 2 points. By the grace of God, they returned after a school dropout in the Northeast, and they had the opportunity to compete again. And of course, they have qualified for the national championship to keep their record intact as one of the schools to qualify for the national championship almost every time in the school's history.
Yes, yesterday that was happened. We came like we were so emotional after we lost the contest. We didn't know what to do, but all is the grace of God. As God made way for us to come to this today, He has made us to win the contest. It's by His grace. If not by the grace of God, we didn't know what we would have done, because Ghana Senior High School is not a school that is supposed to be beaten by a school called Cap or Hene. But by the grace of God, we have made it history. We have come back and we have brought ourselves with a vim, teamwork. We have made it by the grace of God.
Actually, I couldn't imagine it because we have suffered a lot. Beginning from Form 1 to Form 3, suffering here and there, and just come and you knock out of qualifiers. So I couldn't bear the pain. But inshallah, God gave us the way back, and we have shown what God has given us, or God has made us capable of doing.
It has never happened in the history of Ghana School, so I was thinking, how can it be our badge that will do this to Ghana School? People are expecting a lot from us, and we can't end up with this disgrace. It was so embarrassing that I couldn't endure it. The endurance wasn't there. I lost all my conscience, the emotions. I can't describe that. That's why the tears were. I couldn't control my tears. I couldn't.
Despite coming second in the Northeast Regional Qualifiers behind Ghana Senior High School, who joined the contest as a result of a school dropping out, Bumprogu Senior High School has qualified for the National Championship after securing 23 points, while Walwale Senior High School also secured 22.
Please, I think it will be a prestigious thing to be at the National Championship, and this our winning. I think it is by the glory of God, because I knew that if it wasn't because of God, no, we wouldn't have won the contest. So I am so happy and delighted, and I give all the glory to God.
In the Savannah Regional Qualifiers, T.I. Amedia Salaga for the first time have qualified for the National Championship after defeating regional favourite Damangu Senior High School. At the end of the contest, T.I. Amas secured 33 points, while Damangu secured 32 points.
It was very cool, you know. We did what we can, and truly we actually made it true. Yes. So
made in addition that we've qualified for the National Championship.
We expected to give them a very big gap, but alhamdulillah, we thank God for what we've had, because 2 marks difference is also something. Even 1 mark difference is also something. If it is not something, then they should have won the competition.
What happened is not surprise. We've been expecting it since. We've been waiting for a long time ago. So we are not surprised what happened, because what we are targeting is not here. We are targeting the higher places. This one here is just a home match. Yes. So we are moving forward. This one there, we just want to use it for assignment. So we are preparing for the higher one.
Is the National Championship not going to be so huge on your shoulders that you started bragging already?
That's how people were expecting this one to, but look at what happened. So that's why you can see us quiet, but we are like fire. So when we come, everything burns.
Yeah. Reporting for Joy News, I am Collins Frimpong.
You're watching the AM show, and let's bring you some business update, but we'll start with the currency market. And that's your update on the currency market. Now, the Monetary Policy Committee of the Bank of Ghana has announced that it will hold an emergency monetary policy today, July 17. This was captured in a notice issued by the central bank. More in the following report.
This might be the second time the Bank of Ghana has revised the date for its Monetary Policy Committee meeting this month. Last week, it had announced a change in the date to the end of this month for the gathering for members of the committee. At that time, it was linked to the fact that the date was clashing with that of the mid-year budget review by the finance minister. So for some, it was interesting that the date has been moved again to this Thursday, July 17, 2025, whilst the policy decision will be announced on July 18, 2025. Sources say the Bank of Ghana now believes that the data about the economy and monetary development should be made known to the public now. This actually breaks the convention, or call it tradition, where the Monetary Policy Committee meeting is held after the mid-year budget review. But is the Bank of Ghana going to respond to the current pressure for policy rate cut? Well, the reaction has been mixed based on our engagement with some of the members of the Monetary Policy Committee. While some are for a rate cut to respond to the current market development like the inflation reduction, others think that they should still wait for a while. The IMF in its latest staff report is pushing for further policy rate tightening, especially at the time that it has also revised its end-year inflation rate target to 8% from the previous target of 12%. Inflation currently stands at 13.7%, so one is not sure whether the policy rate will be cut from the current 28% or maintained.
The government says it is aggressively working to increase investment within the technical and vocational education and training TVET sector. Minister of Education Aidoo says expanding investment in this space is critical to address Ghana's unemployment challenges, particularly among the youth. He made the remarks at the launch of the National TVET Week, an event aimed at promoting skills development and highlighting opportunities in the vocational sector.
As TVET help build employable skills, how does TVET contribute to employment? And that without any fear of contradiction, I say strongly that if you invest in TVET, you are creating job creators and not job seekers. That is the reason why we should invest in technical and vocational education. These young people, if properly exposed with solid infrastructure of retooled equipments, they will live here assured that they would also provide employment opportunities for others, including themselves. Then more importantly, entrepreneurship. It is one of the motivations why I'm pushing strongly, I may sound repetitive, the establishment of a technical and vocational education fund to solely support TVET and technical education.
Now let's bring you some commodity markets news. Well, that'll be all for the AM news, but we've got some sports updates for you. And such a sweetheart, Mubarak is here, looking all nice in the colorful shirt. Oh dear, yes. Yeah. What's up in sports this morning?
Well, yeah, we are building up to the highly anticipated Joy Sports Invitational, and of course, we have an exclusive interview with a Black Queens attacker with regards to the Women's AFCON. So we'll be bringing you that right after this break. Let's do sports now on the AM show. My name is Haruna. Mubarak. Now, leading private pension provider in Ghana, Axis Pensions Trust Limited, is set to participate in this year's Joy Sports Invitational Tournament, scheduled for August 9 at the University of Ghana Stadium. The corporate fun event will feature over 20 organizations with competitions across 15 sporting disciplines. Now, ahead of the event, they have been sharing their expectations with my colleague, Muftau Nabila Abdullahi.
Wow. Quite an incredible atmosphere this morning. What did you all eat this morning? Emma, what did you eat?
What did I eat?
What did you eat this morning?
Oh, we are doing it in the spirit, so we are all fasting. You get it? We are all fasting, and in the spirit, we are coming to Lagos Sports Stadium. We are going to shake the place. We are going to bring wonders. We are going to destroy them. Let them come. We are waiting.
Talk to me. This atmosphere clearly suggests that Axis Pension have got something under your sleeves ahead of the event on August 9.
So last year when Nat was here, we told him that we are made of the green blood. We are still members from the Green Army. We still have the blood running within us. That's why it's under our skin, and that's why we have energy this morning. So as Simon said, on 9th August, they should come. He wants them.
We have a plethora of events that are going to be happening. There's the women's penalty shootout, the CEO penalty shootout.
That one is already won. The CEO's penalty is already won. Won. There's no contest.
Let me comment on the CEO's penalty, okay? Where is HR? Is Ima here? If Ima can confirm, tonight we are flying the CEO to Liverpool. He's a Liverpool fan. Okay. So we are flying him to UK to practice penalty shootouts. He will come.
Already waiting.
The program is on the 9th, right?
Yes.
He will be coming the dawn.
Okay.
So we pick him up at the airport. Yes. He will come here and relax. Okay. Straight to the field. Okay. So they should watch out for the CEO's penalty.
And you see, you mentioned women penalty shootout. I don't know whether you know Alexia Putellas, yes, the FC Barca player. Yes. We have our own version in house. So don't worry.
Where is she?
Don't worry.
Where is she?
No. She there. It's a secret. And you see, recently on Sunday during the home building, we saw what John Stina did. Yes. We have our own version of Stina in there. So don't worry. I mean, when it comes to table tennis, we recently did a brand expansion in Asia. We have one in-house, so we are coming like a kite.
You know what? When it is time for Joy Sports Invitational, you hear every single thing that is available for anyone to hear.
Highly exceptional. Yeah.
This one is not just for the optics. We deliver. We do. We promise we do. Axis Pension, if you care to know, our slogan is. Let them know. Our slogan is what? Exactly. Your reliable partner in pension. So even if it comes to sports, whatever it is, name it. Oh, come on, man.
And when it comes to reliability, just as you've heard them, ASIC's pension is the home to be. And in fact, when I walked in, I saw that in one of your t-shirts, I saw retire in style. Do you want to retire in style? Do you want to retire and enjoy the fruit of your labor when you were young? The best place to be is ASIC's pension. Sign up! And when you sign up, definitely you're going to retire in style. This has been our coverage of the Joy Sports Invitational Tournament. Today we are at ASIC's pension, and tomorrow we might just be in your office. Thank you very much for your time.
We end the sports segment with the exclusive interview of Black Queens forward Chantal Boy-Clocker, who opens up on her experience in the team as well as the team's target at the Women's AFCON. She spoke to my colleague Lawrence Aidoo. Do enjoy.
Obviously, you want to talk about the progress of the Black Queens as far as the Women's Africa Cup of Nations is concerned. They make it into the quarterfinal stage, and one name that has been on the lips of the first half of that game against Tanzania, because you already mentioned about it. You went into the dressing room, I mean, looking a bit down, the whole team a bit down because you had lost the lead. What was the message at halftime? What was the communication amongst yourselves?
There was 45 minutes left. We know what we had to do. We know that we were the better team in the first half. Like, all respect to Tanzania, but we was the better team and we should have scored more goals in our first half. So the belief was there. It was never dropped, but we just needed that extra bit of conversation, maybe just that little bit of a kick to say, like, girls, like, we don't need to drop our head because look at what we're playing. Like, we're playing so well that now we just need to go out and just score. That was it. We just needed the final little touch, like the icing on the cake, and we got it done.
So people look at you and they talk about the fact that you have that niche to pick spaces in the opposition's box, in the opposition's half. Against Tanzania, you had the opportunity to utilize that. You had scored 2 goals prior to this tournament, but what does it mean for you to come onto the continental stage and do it once again? I'm
just, as I say, I'm grateful. I'm grateful to be able to show it on the biggest stage in Africa with this badge on my chest. Yeah, and I hope I can add a lot more to the game. Not just goals, but assists and leadership and just encouragement.
Right from the group stage, the focus turns to the business end of this tournament, the quarterfinals. Ghana up against Algeria. Have you seen Algeria play, or have you, seen any actions of them so far in this tournament?
No, and if I'm honest, I don't really like to look at the opposition because it kind of makes me focus on them a little bit when they should kind of just be focused on us. And we should be focused on us. So regardless of what team we got, I think we'd still want to play our game. So yeah, I'm just looking forward to it.
What is the mentality? How are you approaching this game, knowing that it could push you to the last 4 of this competition? Ghana last made that stage, 2016.
What it means for me, it means that, of course, like, we can, I want to create history. Like, I want to give as much as I can give to this badge because I haven't been here for so long, and I want to bring my qualities, and I also want to pull the qualities that we've got in this dressing room. I want to pull them out. So what it'll mean for me is everything, really, along with the girls, and we've all got the same motivation, we've all got the same determination to reach as far as possible from game by game by game. And I think we're just warming up. I think we're really we're warming up and starting to play together.
The expectation has been that fans would probably be all over this place supporting the team, but then fortunately for you, you've had a Ghana supporters union from the very first day right to this point. How crucial have they been? Because I've seen videos of you, jamming to their songs almost every time. How crucial have they been to the back end of this team?
so crucial, especially for this team. But for me, just that support, the passion, I love it. Like, I love to dance, and that the fans bring energy with them, and maybe to them they're just the dancing and that. But I've seen a video online of back home in Ghana, and they was like going crazy, and I was like, that just motivates me even more to give, because I want to see smiles on faces. I want the nation to be proud of us and proud of themselves as well, like to be seen dancing and singing and everything. So yeah.
You talk about seeing a video online. One thing that has made the headlines online at home is your name, your performances.
Yeah.
Have you been able to go through some of the compliments or the plaudits that you've received, and how have you taken them as a footballer or as a person?
To be honest, I've looked through a lot of them, but not all of them. And it's just pure energy I'm feeding off it. It's just so much positivity. Like, I'm getting so much love. The team's getting so much love, and it's only right for the team to be noticed right now. So yeah, I'm proud, and I keep saying I'm grateful, but I'm beyond grateful of the support that I'm shown, and the girls are shown, and I just want to keep giving, because they're giving me so much, they're giving the team so much, so it's only right we give to them.
Look, you call it a few more games to go until this very tournament ends, but what would you say is a successful tournament? At what point will you classify this tournament as successful for you and maybe for the team?
We take the trophy. Like, we take the trophy. I think we deserve it. I think we deserve the respect from African football, and I wanna give this continent so much respect, but I also want to gain it, and the only way you gain that is by performing, by showing who we are. And so a successful tournament for me is taking home the only thing that you can take home.
Look, on the lighter side of things, you've taken so much pride in representing this country. People know, I mean, from your name they can tell, but I want to hear from you. What tribe are you, and what kind of person are you?
What kind of person am I? Crazy. No, I'm relaxed at times. I'm a balance, I think. I'm a bit, I have my crazy side, but I have my really chilled side. I have my fun side, but I have a serious side. So I'm just a balance. Like, if I have to put a word on it, I'm a balance.
Been around for quite a time now. Who would you say has been your Ghanaian artist? That is, if you have one. You listen to any Ghanaian songs?
I haven't got one, to be honest. I'm just involved with all the music. Like, sometimes I try and be chilled and just tap my feet, but I can't help it. It's like it's in me to just dance. And then all the girls, all the staff are like, oh, I didn't know you could dance. And I'm like, yeah, you haven't seen anything yet because I'm holding it in.
Inspired by the quest to see her community and environment clean, Hilda Ada, a social advocate, and her partner Dana Musura set up Kashid, a social enterprise which collects sachet water wastes and transforms them into plastic lumber. Supported by Asase Foundation, Kashid involves every actor in the waste collection and management chain, employing hundreds of waste collectors and aggregators to store raw materials.
We started Asase. And the essence of Asase is actually to retrieve as much plastics from the environment to stop or minimize the pollution of plastics. Now, to set this up, we thought that it would be better to target communities through the municipal assembly structures. So we target communities by setting up the processing plant, give employment to the underprivileged people, mostly youth who are dropouts from school, women who are waste pickers, and then other vulnerable groups in the community. We also set up in the community because that is where the waste is. so it's easy to retrieve from them. Ours is to engage everybody who is in the value chain. So we don't displace waste pickers, the aggregators. Everybody who is part of that economy is brought in, and then we together make the impact that we are looking for.
With the capacity to process over 7,000 tons of plastic sachet waste annually, the location of recycling plants are carefully selected. Communities selected are typically close to key ecological and peri-urban areas with a clear goal to keep the city clean and protect ecological zones.
So Cash It is the social enterprise of Asase Foundation. The foundation itself is an NGO that looks for money to set up the operations. Now in the operations we have community work, community engagement, which is actually my background. We have the processing, that is the recycling part, and then we have the end application. So in the end application we do the plastic lumber. Now in the collection we engage, like I said earlier, the waste pickers, the aggregators, and then what we say suppliers.
Okay.
And for these groups we start with the engagement and mobilization of the waste pickers. So currently, as I say, has close to 400 waste pickers that we work with within the 3 municipalities that we work. And in the subsequent municipalities we will continue to engage waste pickers.
The factory ensures all plastic waste sourced is tracked. Areas that record high levels of contamination, such as sand, stones, or non-plastic materials, are enrolled in waste collection education programs. At Cash It, sustainability isn't just routine, it's a careful strategy where incentive schemes reward waste collectors who properly segregate waste or deliver high-quality plastic waste with tricycles to support their work.
Now, before we even get to the mobilization of these people in the value chain, we also do awareness. Ghana as a country, we don't have segregation and collection culture. Our waste management, proper waste management knowledge is almost zero. So we do awareness creation by doing public announcements in the communities that there is this initiative that collects plastics. So people should segregate and collect the waste. So once we get it into our storage facility, that's the warehouse, we take them by supplier because all materials that we take have to be tracked. We track all our materials so that we know the source, we know the quality, and how to constantly improve the quality. And we do this because I told you that we are trying to show to the public the value of the waste, but also its impact to the community. When the material comes and it is contaminated, it means it was collected from pedestrian waste or it is collected from litter. It means that community where they collect, there is low or no education on segregation and collection. So we try to also target the community to improve this habit or this practice. And then also we are able to reward the waste picker, the collector, to be able to collect the right material. If it is heavily contaminated, the yield is very low, which means we lose a lot.
So help us, once you're able to do all of these, what then you do with the waste?
Then when we bring it here, we take it to our processing plant. We have what we call the LD, the low density. Most of the materials we collect are the water sachet. So that's what we call the low density plastics. And then it goes through our crushing system, washing, and then baling. So when it is collected and washed and then baled, now we drain the water and then we take some of that and add it to other plastics, and we use that for the end application, that is the plastic lumber.
From crushing to washing and dewatering, the process moves into agglomeration, an automated multi-step system managed by trained personnel working in 3 shifts a classic case of the 24-hour economy system. The final product is plastic lumber, an innovative substitute for wood used in producing items like desks, chairs, beds, flower pots, and more.
For the lumber, when we finally get, they come in the same cuts like the lumber cut. So 2 by 2 by 2, 2 by 4, 2 by 6, 1 by 8, and all. So when we get those cuts, we also have carpenters. We have actually trained carpenters because this material is an innovation. You can't use the skill that a normal carpenter uses to make furniture out of it. So we also train carpenters to be able to use this material. You can't use saw to cut. You cannot use hammer, normal hammer, to hit it, the nails. Normally they use drills, they use a cutting machine to cut them.
So is this an example of some of the artifacts you're able to make with the plastic lumber?
This is flower pot that is made, and this is about 2 years. It's been sitting in the sun. Has no effect. The sun or rain has no effect on it.
So it's able to withstand every weather condition.
Yes, and then no termites.
Okay.
Personally, I use some of the first lumber we did 4 years ago to do my garden. And before then, I was using waste. The termites will always eat it. And when I started using the lumber, they are still there, not damaged.
Nia is a lead carpenter at the Wager facility. He tells us how durable the products are.
I think this one, how we are using for school days, this one is good. Because the wood, maybe the student, they can push the wood and things, but this one is too heavy, so you can't push it. Recently, we will do some for sink. They will wash their hand inside for some schools at North Carnation. Because we went there, they say if they use wood, at times the water spoil the wood, so we use the plastic to do it for them. They say they will come again, then we'll do another one for them. So they see that this one is very, very, very good.
Women and youth are at the heart of the sustainability drive. Aidoo, one of 23 workers at the Wager facility, shares how her employment as a factory hand has been economically transformative.
First, I'm not doing anything. I'm in the house. Where I get the job, it's helped me a lot. Paying my child's school fees, my family, my rent. So this job, I love it so much. Yeah. So I'll never leave the job. I love it.
At the Asase Foundation's cashet, nothing goes waste. Water used during manufacturing is treated and reused. Even the residue from operations is sold to other plastic innovators as raw material for producing plastic pavements and building blocks, highlighting the foundation's broader vision for a green economy. While Hilda welcomed President Mahama's call to replace wooden desks with plastic lumber, she also urged the government to invest in such innovations.
You've heard a call by the president that we should do away with the use of wood for school furniture.
And again, that's also enforcing a bit about sustainability.
Exactly.
As we go green, we try to create a green economy. We need to encourage a lot of these things.
Exactly. And I think the president's call is spot on. For all these types of innovations with sustainability, impact, community impact, environmental impact and all that, you definitely need public drive. And if I say public drive, I'm talking about government. Government is one of our biggest procures
the biggest contractor, if you want to put it that way.
Yes, a biggest contractor. They build schools, they build offices, they build institutions, so many avenues. So for some of these construction needs, they can use products like these. So that first, they are the biggest.
Right.
So the biggest market. And then of course, then the public would also see how these things are used and then participate in the market of these.
She further called for the passage of the Extended Producer Responsibility Law to hold producers accountable for the waste generated from their products.
We need investment to expand this. If we have this in many communities, we can, retrieve as much as possible. We will also give the right education. And one of the sure ways of getting public investment or public support for investment is what we call the EPR scheme, that is the Extended Producer Responsibility, where producers, contribute money into a pot, and then it is used to support collection. It may be used to support education,
management,
infrastructure, public allocation through the municipal assemblies can also be used to invest in collection. So we need these two. We need public investment through the assembly, common fund or whatever. And then we also need this EPR scheme to take effect as soon as possible.
Hilda believes the Ghana Education Service should introduce a practical curriculum on waste management and segregation. She's confident that a combination of strong policy enforcement and education will drive the behavioral change needed. Construction of a new plant has already begun in Juabeng in the Ashanti region. By sourcing local artisans for equipment building, the Asase Foundation plans to replicate this model in Takoradi and Tamale, each step aimed at protecting the environment through social entrepreneurship.
AM show. Thank you so much for staying with us all through. Now, time now to review the newspapers. And before that, AM show, it's sponsored by Syntex Tanks Ghana. Let's talk water tanks. Do you know the secret to real water storage? It's simple. If your tank doesn't have the tortoise on it, then it's not the correct tank. That's right, the tortoise tank. Syntex tank is the champion of water tanks. Its stores is strong and durable and built to handle our Ghanaian weather. Rain or shine, Syntex tank has your back. So my people, go outside, check your tank, and if it doesn't have a tortoise on it, of course, you know what to do. It's time to upgrade. Join the Syntex tank family today and enjoy water storage that's tough like a tortoise. You can call 0244-335-168 to buy now or find one of our 400 agents nationwide. You can also shop online at syntexgh.com. Syntex tank, a strong, a tough. Time now for the news review, and Dr. Joshua Zato, Senior Lecturer, Political Analyst, University of Ghana, joins us, and as well Dixon Chiredia, MP, Berekum West as well, and Nana Yao Sapon, Movement for Change. All of them not new to the show, especially Nana Yao Sapon and as well Dr. Zato. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining me this morning. A news review.
Thank you.
Tomorrow is Friday and the weekend is just here. How's your week been so far? I'll start with you, Doc.
Oh, it looks nice. I mean, this is the first time I'm meeting you.
It's nice to meet you.
It looks nice to be here.
Thank you so much.
And if you are sitting by big men, you see them. See the way they are dressed and everything. They are big men. That's why.
A very simple question. How is your weekend?
Right.
Why? Am I not allowed to answer the question the way I like it? Why? see this guy.
You have really announced yourself, because before you came in here, they said a few things about you. I won't tell you whether it's good or bad, but I make my own comments. So thank you.
I'm just saying that.
Were we wrong?
It looks like you're not wrong.
Okay. Let me just sit in this corner and let the big man talk.
But it's good to have you on here. Honorable, how are you doing as well? And how's your constituency?
Oh.
Doing well?
Yeah, very well, very well.
Okay.
Let me say good morning to the good people of Berekum West. It's been a very tough week. You know, in Parliament, we're now sitting 6 days in a week. Mondays, Saturdays have been included in the number of days. So it's been very tough. And as we prepare to rise, there are a lot of things going on. Late night sittings, and it's been very tough these days. And let me say a very good morning to my very good friend, Dr. Joshua Zato. And, you know, there's a credential, though. She didn't add to your title, you know. Policy analyst and political analyst. But Dr. Zato is actually a very good politician.
Actually, I thought you were going to say I'm also a senior fellow at Africa Policy Lens.
Exactly.
That's what you would have preferred. But he prefers to give you the other titles, which you don't prefer.
You know?
I don't know where he's going with this one. I don't know where he's going with this one. I don't know where he's going with this one.
You know, I don't
know where he's going with this one.
Doc was in Sisala 2014 NPP primaries against then incumbent NPP MP. Honorable Chinia. I think you contested him, didn't you?
You see where he was going with this?
But I asked the questions here. Don't ask
Good one.
So don't
ask the question.
Don't take his job. Don't take his job. Don't take his job. Don't take his job.
Chinia, my very good friend, he has a lot of political experience. So beyond being a lecturer, academic, and he also has political experience. He was in the race against Chinia.
We'll see.
But Chinia totally annihilated him.
Don't take.
So he gave him a political.
Don't take her job. Don't take her job. Don't take her job.
Okay. We'll discuss primaries. Honorable, don't worry. It'll be a good time to discuss primaries. But it's a good secret to let us
know. Mischief detected. Serious mischief detected this morning.
Let's start with what has your attention in the news.
Serious.
No, that's.
Thank you, boss.
Nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you. Thank you.
Good morning to my brothers. Zato. In fact, now I understand. This morning he's made me understand why his name keeps ringing in my ears.
Yeah.
So I now understand. So I think he has a responsibility to protect my.
He's a very good friend with my big brother. So my big brother, when I was coming here yesterday, said, "When you come, look for him and tell him that." I'm the one, so and give me his number so you can call him. The two of them did a lot of mischief back in Tamale. I'm going. You actually Tamale Poly. They did a lot of mischief together so many moons ago.
Okay.
Now the chickens are coming back home to roost. So you see the angle.
Okay,
a lot of mischief in Tamale Poly.
I think I have a little advice for you. Today you must be prepared because
I know.
But okay. So we'll take
my brother Victor. They did a lot of mischief back in Tamale Poly.
Victor was the SSC president. To talk about some of the things in the news that has your attention particularly before we get into the newspapers. So let's start with you, Nanayao.
There's something that is trending that we need to deal with. That has to do with this negative social media propaganda. You see, we all live in a nation, and we do not live in isolation. You understand me? We should be able to manage some of the propaganda that we want or we seek to put out there. I'll give you an example. I think, was it over the weekend? It was all over on social media that the entire of the country was going to go blackout. This wasn't true. Why do you seek to push propaganda? Now, whatever platform you are on travels very far. We are not only dealing with people of this nation. We have foreign direct investors who are monitoring. We have our creditors who are monitoring every single move of ours and every single communication line we put out there. Why do we seek to do this to ourselves? I keep saying that there is time for everything. Even the Bible states it, there are times and seasons. We are not yet in the time of campaigns and all of these propaganda. We just walked out of an elections in December 2024. We need to allow some space for government to work. We need to allow some space for captains of industries to be able to focus. We need to allow some space for us to be able to attract investors into our economy, for the economy to grow. The economy is just stabilizing. Once it's stable, then it would have the opportunity to grow. But if at this stage, we still would want to push negative propaganda, lies, it won't help us. Country broke, country no broke, we all day inside. But we should be able as a people, understand the fact that, listen, we need to put a good image of Ghana out there. If you do this in the mid of 2028, when we all know we are doing campaigns, we are doing politics, it will be understandable. But at this stage, when they are putting negative propaganda on the dollar rate, and who has and it's not true. You know it is not true. Now, if you use your social media handle, your Facebook page or your Twitter page, that's the X page, to promote this all national blackout and it didn't happen, you should be ashamed of yourself.
Right. And so for you, what has your attention even beyond the newspapers is those who use social media to propagate some propaganda. I'll go to
negative.
Honorable.
Negative. Yes, the propaganda could be positive. You know, it is propaganda has to do with how you push a news to escalate. You understand? Okay. That is the understanding some of us we have. But when it is negative news and it is news that is not true, it's lies, that is where I'm coming from.
Okay. And I'll go to Honorable. Honorable, beyond the newspapers in front of you, what is in the news that has your attention? Or generally, what has your attention?
I think the issue of the third national vice chairman of the NDC and the national organizer, Yamin and Abanga, being referred to Yoko for investigation by the Attorney General, has been trending in the last couple of days. And people are wondering why big wigs, top guns of the political party in power are being referred for such investigations. And some of us are not surprised at all because President Mahama has said over and over that he will never shield any of his appointees. He will never shield any of his party officials who are found culpable in whatever areas they find themselves. And especially when it comes to Galamsey, he has vowed to go after individuals who are alleged to be involved. For him, it is not about the evidence being brought to him. Once you are mentioned, you will be investigated. So I'm not surprised at all that the Attorney General has done what is right, referring them to Yoko. And I'm very confident they will cooperate with Yoko. And if they found culpable, they will be dealt with according to the law. And I think this goes to underscore the fact that whoever is invited to appear before Yoko, we should not read any political connotations into it. We should all be prepared to fight this menace. And President Mahama has shown the way. This is not the first time during his term as president, some of his appointees, you remember Victoria Mahama was fired, Loretta Lamte got herself into trouble, Buga Pele was prosecuted. And there are a lot of such examples. So I'm not surprised at all. And this is the beginning of big things to happen. Whoever is involved, once President Mahama has vowed to go after all those involved, you should be prepared that they will come after you. So let us wait and see how the investigations unravel. Having said that, let me hasten to add here that multitudes of allegations do not also constitute evidence. And once the people are before investigation, let us wait. And whatever the outcome, we all accept. So it is too early for people to go to town, say, you know, NDC, big wigs are into Galamsey. It had been perhaps some other leaders, they would have shielded one of their own, but President Mahama has chosen to do otherwise. Let them face investigations. If they are cleared, so be it. If they are found culpable, they go through the rigors of the law.
All right. Thank you. Dr. Zato, it will be you now. Beyond the newspaper in front of you, what generally has your attention?
Once again, thank you very much, and thank you to all the listeners there. I want to agree completely with what the Honorable has said. And I want to continue on that trajectory of Galamsey. About some few months ago, Ken Ashigbe, considered one of the leading voices in this anti-Galamsey movement, actually came out with a headline that says that when it comes to Galamsey fight, NDC criminals have replaced NPP criminals. It's actually in a big headline, he's made that point. Secondly, when it comes to the Galamsey fight, everybody in this country agrees that we are not winning the war. In fact, we are not even putting a dent on the fight. It's completely agreed. Your own Erastus, I'm sure he's somewhere in this building, he will tell you that. This morning, as I was coming, I was listening to the Super Morning Show. They were asking a very simple question. What prevents the President of the Republic of Ghana from declaring a state of emergency around water bodies? What prevents the... when they wanted to pass this energy levy bill, we'll come to it, it was with a state of emergency. When they wanted to pass the holiday so that we can go and chill, sit down and chill and reflect, it went with a state of emergency. We have been told that Galamsey is an existential threat. That means that our very survival as a people is being threatened by Galamsey. Why are we not repealing that law as a matter of what? State of emergency. What you've seen the president doing here is wishy-washy. Just yesterday, this week, His Excellency the President of the Republic of Ghana declared publicly, somewhere in second somewhere in the Western region, that Galamsey is now a national emergency. Galamsey is now. So when I heard, I was like, wait, now as in July 2025? Or now as in the year 2025? Because as at 2023, the same media coalition, the same independent press has said that it was an existential crisis. 2024, the same people said it was an existential crisis. 2024, October, November, there, I voted for a strike action as a member of UTAG. We went on the strike action because Galamsey was an existential threat and because Galamsey was an emergency. You mean all that time it wasn't a national emergency? So I agree now. Even if the president, or even if it wasn't there, because everybody else knew that it was a national emergency. Everybody else knew that it was an existential threat. Because I believe that in the order of what should freak you out, existential is here and emergency is here. That when you say something existential, it should really freak you out. But let's agree. Let's agree it's emergency. So, Mr. President, what do you do? Very simple things to deal with the emergencies. One, this morning, this afternoon, this evening, the president can declare a state of emergency around water bodies. Simple as that. This morning, this evening, they can rush to Parliament with an emergency certificate of bill to remove or to repeal the law. Everybody, and I'm not saying me, look at this house, every single journalist in this world, every single person, you can talk to. I've just mentioned Ken Ashigbe, I've mentioned Asare, what's his name? Erastus Adanko. I've mentioned Senor Hosi. These are respectable voices in the fight against Galamsey. Each and every one of them tells you that these are no more even low-hanging fruits. These are ground-lying fruits. Just pick them. Why is the president not going to do that? Secondly, there's absolutely nothing that the current government is doing that the former government did not do. And the result is the same. The waters are not getting better. The communities have been devastated and everything is happening. So when you now see a headline or something that says that we are arresting 3 community, they ask, why? Then there's a theory going around. There's a theory as to why they're targeting these people. The internal battles in the NDC are beginning. This Joseph Yamin and Yakubu Abanga and others, I believe, not to be supporting the president's candidate or preferred successor or preferred heir apparent.
Is that not a bit of a stretch?
It's a theory. Remember I just said that. It's a theory. And so this, and now if they are in Galamsey and they are making money, they will use that money to support whichever candidate they prefer to replace the president when the NDC primaries come around. So cut them from the knees. Cut them off from the knees so that they don't have any money else to do. I'm saying that so it's targeting a certain group of people who are one. I'm saying it's a theory.
It beats my mind.
It does, exactly. That's how we are. Because if no people are then asking, if you are really...
I'm unable to associate with it, especially the platform.
Pardon?
We are unable to associate with this.
No, I said it's a theory. I'm not saying it's what's happening. I'm saying it's a theory. I'm just telling you that people have asked the question. Why are you not doing the simple things? The very simple things of what? Declare state of emergency. The very simple thing of what? Repeal the law. Why are you rather going after your own people? And I'm saying that it is to make it the waters.
The doc is suggesting.
I'm not suggesting. I'm saying that it has been. You are it has been postulated. It has been said that.
Okay, you know,
it has been that.
Theory,
it has been hypothesized that
because
this could be the reason. I'm saying it's a hypothesis. Yes.
We'll wait.
Exactly. We'll wait to see.
We'll wait until it's peer reviewed.
Thank you.
Let's go on to the.
It's a hypothesis.
This goes to underscore.
Let's go on to the news.
This goes to underscore Doc's conviction that you don't go after your own party member.
Go after
your opponents.
Yes. But when I heard this, I was also to know this that there is a report called the Professor Prinform Bottom report.
Yes.
Arrest everybody. I don't care. Look, if you jail people who would have trying them because of Galamsey, you will never see me try to defend or just anybody who has been properly charged and been taken to jail for breaking the law. If Galamsey is an essential
why this story you are propounding?
No, I think the two of you are quite on the same page. Let's go into the newspapers.
Let us clear something that Dato is putting out there. When there is a difference between a theory being out there and probably some misinformation or a school of thought that would be there. I do not know the national organizer of the NDC, the Kumasi guy, what's his name?
Joseph Yami.
Joseph Yami, and then Abanga. But if they have been invited because it is purported that they are involved in Galamsey, I think
there were petitions against them.
Yes, we should
by the small
be able
scale
to deal
miners
with the matter.
Association.
Now, where did it come from? The small scale miners who are into illegal mining were being pursued. Now, if we are being pursued, we all on this table would have agreed since the fight of this Galamsey that once you begin to pursue them, then they begin to draw in political connotations. Now, this is where we are today. All right, so in order to be able to divert our attention from dealing with the matter, they petition these people and then they try to draw them in. Notwithstanding, we are not able to say for a fact. One, Yamin has been in the media. He's stated on his social media handle clearly, without ambiguity, that he has not been involved in mining. He has nothing to do with mining, and he has disassociated himself from them. Yes, he's going to face the Yoko and deal with the matter. So we let it lie. Now, if we want to ask what the president has done beyond his words of declaring that Galamsey is a national emergency, of course, we all agree. The president himself, before he became president, agreed that Galamsey was a national crisis. And we are saying that we should declare a state of emergency. But then the forest reserves and these same water bodies have been declared as security zones. You understand me? And beyond the declaration of it being a security zone, the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, the Honorable Amakofi Boa, also launched the Anti-Illegal Mining Operations Secretariat. All right, and this brought together the agencies that are supposed to fight Galamsey. So we have the Ministry of Interior, we have the Ministry of Defense, we have Lands and Natural Resources, and all those agencies allied.
How do you respond to people who have said that all these measures are not novel? They are measures that may have existed prior to this government, just renamed, reintroduced?
If you would ask me, I would say to a point that it is novel. Why? Because we had instances where a particular ministry or an agency would set up its own task force, and this one sets up its own task force. Now, this is a synchronization of all of them. Because there are times you go to the Galamsey areas, and I've stated it here, because I am a policeman, and I do not understand the licensing procedures and the certifications of miner. When I go there, they will show me a document, and I might not even understand on the surface of it what it is about. You understand? But this is a task force that has all of them together. So if I come and you say you have documentation, you bring it out. We have a member of the task force who is from Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, probably from the Minerals Commission, who understands the documentations. You understand me? We have somebody from Defense who would be able to use the arm if the need be, because the police sometimes they just go in to protect. They don't use the arm. If there ought to be an arrest, we have a policeman from the Ministry of Interior who would cause the arrest. So it's a synchronization of all of this. And beyond this, the president comes yesterday and says that it's a national emergency. Communication is very important. Once he has declared a national emergency, it means that at this point where we are today, he is emphasizing or putting some pressure on this task force to be able to push the work they are doing.
Okay.
And that clarity ought to be made.
Let me come to Honorable, especially because we've introduced task force.
Yeah.
I mean, we're dealing, just yesterday, the Ghana National Association of Small-Scale Miners have just said that while we recognize that task force is supposed to be sanitizing the small-scale mining areas, maybe galamsey or illegal mining, there have been some parallel task force, those that are now they have mutated. These task forces have mutated to become task forces that are not legally mandated and are extorting them. So it looks like we want to solve a problem, we want to mitigate a problem, then we create another problem. How do you respond to this?
Let me state clearly that probably DOC has not followed closely this government's fight against galamsey. All fronts. Doc, you are aware of the difficulty one faces now, even if you want to bring in excavators and earth-moving equipment into this country.
What's the difficulty? The prohibition
virtually,
or without license?
There is a ban on that. Virtually, and if you get in...
The ministry, Transport Ministry only said that if you do not have a license, you cannot import.
Exactly. To get it registered, that's the difficulty. Gone were the days when you could freely bring those equipment in as if you were bringing your Toyota Land Cruisers or any other vehicles. Now, there is serious restriction on that front.
So we have to trust the body that's enforcing the restriction.
Exactly. Doc, again, the Blue Water Initiative is also working very hard. On top of the task force, we have Blue Water Initiative, and the task force is also on the ground working. Then deterrence is key. You know, as Nana just said, if you know you are a politically exposed person, whether your government is in power or not, you will not be shielded. So the government has demonstrated ample commitment, especially the minister responsible for lands and natural resources, Honorable Amakofi-Boa. He's been on the ground, has been battling, and over 7 of our forests that were previously occupied by illegal miners have been retrieved. Dozens of them. So the fight is on, and I will admit that we are not out of the woods yet. But Doc, in the last 6 months, you would have appreciated that the fight has been stepped up to different levels. And I'm very confident eventually we're going to win the fight. Talking about task force that are mutating to become extortionists and those things, these are the challenges we face. These are the clear challenges as Ghanaians. Some security people are put out there, and you have 1 or 2 who, instead of being a patriot and be protecting our natural resources, rather be thinking about their personal interests. And that's why it's important we go after each and every one. In the case of the Yamin and Abanga case, these allegations being raised by the small-scale miners, and investigations are underway. Then you have people on the other side reading different political connotations into it. How do we fight this menace?
Did we not, and Doc, I'll come to you now, did we not anticipate this, that because we already have existing bodies that can fight illegal mining, and because we've introduced what we describe as the task force, it is anticipated, or we anticipated, that it will mutate to what we're facing today?
No, but whether task force or not, some of these things are, I mean, they are local issues that, I mean, people could just go in and extort money here and there. But the point is, when these issues come up, how do you deal with them? And that is exactly what this government is doing. Okay. And you see, as Doctor was trying to propound those theories here and there, if we go along this trajectory, how do we fight it? Wuntumi is invited, then he says because he wants to become national chairman of NPP, that is why he's being pursued. But these things are not going to deter this government. It will go after everybody, irrespective of your political affiliations, irrespective of your class in the society, because this is a menace this government has committed to fighting. In fact, not only the government, the executive, everybody, parliamentarians, they've been series of workshops for us to also to contribute into fighting this menace. So we are, together, and I'm very confident we will get a result. It's a very difficult fight, though, but we will get a result.
You want to be, Dr. Okay. See, and if you have followed the steps, we had declared before, before the elections, that for any government to be able...
Who are the we? Movement
for Change, yes. Before any government is able to fight Galamsey, 2 major steps, okay, aside the 10 steps that we gave, and the withdrawal of the licenses and all of that. One was to introduce that element of shoot to kill. You understand me? Number 2 was to get...
Shoot to kill as well?
Oh, yes, of course. If it's declared a security zone, if you are causing ecocide, which is genocide, means you are killing people. And so that's how this
was in your plan.
Oh, this is a statement we've made. Shoot to kill, and I've said it here before. And I think the former first deputy speaker of parliament, my father, Joe Wise, also stated that yes, we should declare those areas. Once we see you there, you're not supposed to be there. It's a security zone. But go to deter people. Now, number 2, you see, if you look at the setting up of the gold board and their processes, introducing the tracings of the origins of gold that are being sold in the market, that is one other major step. Now, if you have gold and you want to sell, there is only one. So it means you are taking control of the gold market. There is only one place you can sell it. Now, once you go to sell the gold there, you should be able to produce or provide them the information about the origin, the source of that gold you are holding to sell.
Okay.
So the area which is from the company that mined it and all of that. And so if it is not in their records, it means that it is an illegal gold you are holding. Number 2,
I think it'll be fair now to bring Doc in.
Yes, you cannot keep buying gold of the market and you would want to keep them in your houses. No, you would have to definitely sell to make your money.
Okay.
And so you should be able to provide documentations to that effect.
Doc, you've heard the rebuttals, and it's still a part of what's in front of the newspapers. And whilst you're addressing this, I'd like you to address the issue of the mutated tax force exactly, because yesterday it was a major headline.
Thank you. As I was listening to the 2 honorable men, I had a eureka moment. Something hit me. The movement for change in the NDC seems to have a symbiotic relationship now. They seem to be reading from the same hymn book. There seems to be both their philosophy, their media strategy and approach and commentary is the same. It's like they share notes.
Give me an example.
What they're just saying. Look, I'm saying that if you just go back and look at the rhetoric, in opposition, they all campaigned on what? On virtue. In opposition, they all campaigned in poetry, fluently. They made these issues look very simplistic. Every one of them, I can quote directly, call for a state of emergency. Everyone. And I'm telling you, we went on a strike at UTAC and Labour because we wanted this thing repealed. Everybody, the NDC, the movement for change, all of them agreed to this. All of a sudden, they have metamorphosed. You're talking about mutation. They have mutated, metamorphosed to become one powerful force. To now say they are the same. They are I and my parties are one. The movement for change in the NDC, I and my parties are one. They are now one. Yesterday, I was on TV with one. Today, I'm on TV. Wherever I go, they are the same. They are saying the same. They're singing the same. Come on, you guys, you don't need to form your party. Just join them. Just become one. That's what I'm saying. That's what I've realized. Because they are one. Now, let me go back. Let me now go back. Let me talk about the question. The second thing is this. He also joined. The movement for change also joined now. You want. Both of them will join. They are the same. Movement for change and NDC are now one and the same.
Let's be fair.
And that's what they do. That's why whenever they see me, they all pounce on me. They are the same. Movement for change, NDC.
They all pounce on you.
I and my parties are one. They are all one. They are the same. So I want to understand that so that when they are passing to me, when they are passing to me, you know.
I'll give you the permission to ask. Secondly, part of the NDP.
Can I go?
That is what I wanted to clarify.
Let me finish.
That's fair. Honorable, hold on.
Let me finish my term. The second thing is this. You've just mentioned. First, there were the Mami Water body soldiers or people that were sent to go and protect the water. The blue,
which one is the Mami Water?
The blue water. Blue? They look like Mami Water guards. And I actually told them that they could have gone to use Mandron Leprong. Mandron Leprong is the river in Mandron. Mandron is Salis. That offers is both a spiritual, healing river. People go there for the day. They could have used that. Because Mandron Leprong have more power than this Mami water keepers that are
But Mandron
gold is a multi-billion-dollar industry.
Okay.
The people in the Galamsey will say how powerful they are. You think somebody wearing a blue t-shirt stands against them? I have told you, everything you have seen done, raids, military raids, police raids, it has been happening since 2003. We are doing the same thing and expecting different results. And I'm saying, don't take what I've said, disregard me. Don't believe anything I've said. Erastus Asarijanko is in this building. Call him and ask him whether, despite everything they are saying, are we putting a dent on the Galamsey? I will say no. Call Ken Ashube, ask him. Call the media coalition against Galamsey. So my point is that if what my friend said here is true, if what the Honorable said is true, why are we not putting a dent on the fight? Because right now, we could have had these independent bodies telling us that, okay, look, because of these actions, we are seeing a steady drop, or because of this action, we are seeing an improvement. Nah, nobody is saying that. So my point then is that, what is wrong? What are we doing right? And I'm saying, can we try a new thing? Can we try a different approach? And this different approach would then be saying, okay, let's now declare state of emergency and see. Let's now repeal this bill and see. Can we try that one too? In other words, what I'm calling for is an all of the above approach.
But how do you repeal something that is illegal already?
But it's still in the law. And it was promised. It was promised by the previous government that when we come to power, we'll repeal this. Secondly, you can declare state of emergency. I've just told that can be done. When
you declare state of emergency, paint a picture here, indulge me a bit. When you declare state of emergency, how would it look like? Because already it says illegal, do not mine over there.
But they are there.
And if you declare state of emergency, they will not mine there. I thought you said they're powerful, these people are.
Thank you. See, there are still civilian laws applying when you go to whatever body right now. There are civilian laws. So the soldiers going there still have to deal with civilian laws. Let me ask you the difference. Boku now has a state of emergency, and there's even a curfew. That means then that you are giving the security agencies all the powers to restore sanity. I think there's another place somewhere in the north. When we declare state of emergency, we are simply saying that the whole mighty force of the state will be used to make sure that this is happening. My point is that it should be part and parcel of the tools, of the instruments, of the policy instruments available at the disposal of the government to fight this. When you are fighting something that people have said is worse than terrorism, when you are fighting something that our scientists are telling us is causing us cancers and killing us, you adopt an all of the above approach. And all of the above approach will involve declaring all water bodies. Don't go near water body. And all of the above approach will say, declare all these people, don't go there so that we don't even have to deal with you being there. And then they go there. My point is that unless and until we come out with all of these things, everything that we are doing here now become fanciful.
Let's talk about increase in fuel.
Thank you.
Let me just do a rebut.
You know what? If we go on this, if you rebut, I have to give Honorable the opportunity to rebut.
He put a
Did he?
negative.
Go on. Few seconds.
Number one, movement for change is not a subset of any political party.
I do not recall him saying subset. He says symbiotic. Maybe you show symptoms and I don't know.
Is that a 2 hour one? Is that a 2 hour one?
All right.
But that's a subset of any political party.
Okay.
And he knows that Alan John Kojo Tremantin cannot be influenced in any way. See, this is a pull-up from Joy News, your own platform, My Joy Online. On the 30th September 2024, one of your freelancers, James Kumikosa, reported, Alan Tremantin outlines 10-point plan to end Galamsey. Right? And we, point by point, we explained the moves to take in ending galamsey.
Okay.
Including the introduction of community guards. You understand? Who would monitor the activities of galamseyers and report to a main source. And I think that is one of the things that was done by the NDC, that they introduced the blue water gate.
Okay, I think it's
so
you've
let us
rebutted
understand
nicely.
that Movement for Change was the first political organization in this country towards the election 2024 that launched its great transformational plan. And they, in the NPP and in the NDC, had not even thought about how to put together their manifestos.
Please take a bite so we go into
a quick
I think you have made
a quick one on that.
Yeah.
You know,
No, not at all.
the fact put on the ground, the fact that gold board or gold sales are traceable, the fact that restrictions on moving equipment, the fact that Blue Guard initiative is working, the fact that the government is pursuing all manner of persons involved. These facts, Doc was not able to rebut them, except to say, and if these facts are collaborated, it does not make us two in one. I think that is the fact that must be established. Now, in the energy sector, you were talking about the energy levy.
No, because you landed on the galamsey. Let's
energy
it honorable. Sector
one. I want to look at it in broader perspective. And, you know, as part of President Mahama's accountable governance series, yesterday, the Honorable Minister for Energy and Green Transition was in the office of the President to meet the media. And he clearly and competently elucidated all the issues in the energy sector. And we've said time and again that this 1 cedi increase came as a result of the mounting energy sector debt. Yesterday, if you heard him, the IPPS alone, we owe them about 1.7 billion. The general debts in the energy sector, over 3 billion. All these have culminated into a situation where, at the time the minister took office, we were at the brink of having outages, total crisis in the energy sector. And we were faced with these evils, and we had to take a decision. And the decision is that for 8 consistent periods, fuel prices have been dropping 8 times this year. So why don't we find about 5 billion a year so that we can buy fuels to power our plants? That is how come this levy was introduced. Implementation was delayed. Eventually, it kicked off yesterday. Notwithstanding the 1 cedi on top of every liter, we still have fuel prices. 1 gallon of petrol is under 55 cedis. We were buying them 70 cedis when we came to power in January. So admittedly, there's been marginal increase at the pump. But compared to prices at the pump in January, we are still making a lot of savings. Beyond the introduction of this levy, the most important thing is what steps is this government, what steps is the minister responsible for energy taking to ensure that in 3-4 years' time, we will not come back to Ghanaians to tell them to pay more. That is most important thing. And the ministry has introduced wide range of prudent measures. If you listened to him yesterday, one of such measures, prudent, sustainable procurement measures being put in place. And he was very clear that as at July this year, compared with the expenditures in 2024, you spend just 40% of that. And clearly, the days when the ECG and other energy industry players were going on profligate spending are over. So prudent expenditure one of such measures. 2, now we're rolling out solar street lights. And you know, our street lights are taking over 200 megawatts from the grid. If we finish with that, we're going to shed over 200 megawatts of the grid, make a lot of savings. 3, the government is now seeking for private partnership with ECG. And people are going around with misinformation, disinformation to the effect that government is selling ECG. No. Private partner participation in the areas of billing and revenue mobilization. And that is also going to help. Haven't we all been complaining about commercial losses and technical losses at ECG? And it is not business as usual. So if we get this private participation in the areas of billing and revenue mobilization, and the emphasis is on Ghanaian companies that are interested can come on board so that we do this.
Okay.
Again and again, this
Would you land
minister,
on this point? Would you land
this
on this
minister
point?
has done more than enough to avert the looming energy crisis we were facing at the time he took office. Now, our fuel reserve to power our plants, we are very sure at least at any point in time, we have over 2 weeks. He came in and we had virtually less than 3 days. That was why people were talking about the 2.6 days and people were asking what does the 0.6 means and all these things. So I will say we are still not completely out, but the outlook now, the energy sector, July 2025 compared to January 2025, we're making a lot of progress.
Okay.
So I would plead with Ghanaians that as uncomfortable as it is, let us bear with the situation. And finally, yesterday I heard some drivers complaining about because of when cities they will move lorry fare up. I think that is highly unfair. You know, prices of lorry fare does not depend on the cost of fuel alone. Because if we go in by that analogy, fuel prices have dropped by over 30% since January, 8 consecutive times. But prices of transportation have dropped just by 15%. And
so you like them to draw the profits made in the past?
Good, so it is not on that. I mean, prices are based on fuel, maintenance costs, and other operational costs. So why prices of fuel at the pump were dropping consecutively 8 times, prices of transportation did not drop 8 times. Why is that dropped over 30%? Prices did not drop 30%, just 15%. So why increase of 1 cedi, you say you are going to increase? In fact, as Ghanaians, we need to be patriotic. Not only in this area, look at dollar coming down, fuel prices coming. But if you go to market, some prices are still the same, notwithstanding the windfalls businesses are making. So I will use this platform to make a passionate appeal that as businesses, we are profit-oriented though, but the windfalls we are making as a result of the economic gains this government has made, let this be translated into the pockets of ordinary consumers. It is very important we look at it from that
fuel
angle.
Prices, thank you so much, Honorable. So fuel prices obviously have increased just about 10, between 8, 10. I'm not a mathematician, a good mathematician, but between 8, 10%. But of course, because of the increase or because of the levy. What do you have to say about this?
I want to read a news story on City Newsroom. The title is Ghana 1 cedi fuel levy hike won't affect pump prices. President Mahama. The story is written by one Abigail Atta on June 4th, 2025. It's a 1-minute read, but I'll just read something tiny. It says, President John Dramani Mahama has assured Ghanaians that the newly introduced 1 cedi fuel levy will not lead to an immediate increase in fuel prices at the pump. I also have a new listing here to read. It's a news release from Star Oil, now considered the biggest supplier. New general fuel price effective 16 July 2025 at 8 a.m. And they said that they've increased the prices as a result of the 1 cedi. So we have two different narratives here, two different stories here. One is saying that when this happens, there'll be no immediate increase in the fuel prices. As we sit here, every single fuel station distributor in the country has increased their prices by up to 10%. Two different narratives. I don't know whether you understand what I'm saying. Two different narratives. Now, I know what to believe because I'm buying fuel and I know what I'm paying for it. One of the cardinal issues that we talk about in this country is the issue of what we call nuisance taxes. And governments upon government have always promised that they would do away with what? Nuisance taxes. So when this government came, one of the first nuisance taxes they deal with the e-levy. You see, the thing about e-levy is that it was a tax of choice. You could decide to pay or not to pay. So it was called a nuisance tax. Let it go. I've paid e-levy before. And nobody likes to pay taxes. No citizen likes to pay taxes. I've paid it. It was a nuisance tax, but I've paid it. I had no choice. The second was betting tax. Betting tax, we also told, was a nuisance tax. I've never paid betting tax. And something tells me you've never paid it, you don't bet. So that was also a tax of choice. Because it's a tax of choice, it's a nuisance. I can agree with that theory too. I can agree with that understanding to that. These taxes were nuisance. So let's get away with nuisance taxes and move to better places of distance. If betting tax was a nuisance tax, how do you justify D-levy? If E-levy was a nuisance tax, how do you justify this? Because under both betting tax and E-levy, you had options. You could opt out of paying. This one you can't opt out. And we've seen the percentage increases. We've seen you buy, somebody sent me something that if you buy 1,000 liters of oil, you are paying it at almost 83 cedis. Look at the effect this will have on ordinary Ghanaians. That's what I'm saying, that there's a narrative from the government that no, it will not increase, not have effect, but there's a narrative from the real users. Right now, as I talk to you, farmers are on the farm, farming. They need diesel. Those farmers, if you go to the maize belt of Ghana, got the Sisala lands in Upper West. If you go to where you, Bono or Brown, the farmers are on the farm right now, right? Yeah. They need fuel, they need diesel. The price of diesel we've just known has increased by about 10%.
I have one question. How would you rather this government deal with the energy sector challenge?
There are better ways to do it. There are better ways to do it. You'll be surprised to hear that. I am not against the current reforms that they are doing at the ECG. I'm surprised. Actually, I've published an academic article on the SPD. What was that? The former
ESLA?
No, the one that the PDS.
Okay.
I've published an academic journal. I've also published a book chapter on that one. And the policy failure, but I was told that it's a policy that was failing. So I am not against using the private sector to discipline ECG, discipline energy sector. I'm not afraid. It depends upon how it is done, how nice or better it is done, protecting the interests of labor and protecting the national interest. I'm not against that at all. As I said, you can read what I've said, what I wrote about that. What I'm saying is that sometimes in this country, one of the problems we have is our inability to recognize when you are in a position and you offer simplistic solutions, when you know that some of these problems are endemic and structural. When you make it look like it is so simple, so easy to fix energy sector prices, only for you to come inside and see. My point is that if you ask me how to do it, I don't think that we should have removed the betting tax. I don't think that, in fact, especially the betting tax. I thought that we would have just, and see what is happening.
But you describe those as nuisance.
Yes.
Would you describe that?
We have just moved it.
But would you, that would be an equitable way of paying tax. It will not be equal.
Yes, so exactly. My point is that because this, and I'll be happier knowing that you've rather moved the tax to stabilize the energy sector. So you've removed it from betting, but you've just moved it here. That's what actually has happened. Policies don't terminate. Public policies don't terminate. There's nothing, virtually nothing like policy termination. Government just finds a way to move them and to bring them to other places. What we are seeing right now is an attempt to put an undue burden on Ghanaians. When you have promised them, when you've promised that you deal with new taxes. Okay. We should come to the realization as a country that, look, nobody, no citizen anywhere wants to pay taxes. Taxation is difficult. But when you make it look like the tax that this other person has brought is not good, but your tax is good, you create this situation where people then think that you were just criticizing for criticising's sake.
Okay.
It's not.
Okay, that's quite clear. Anel.
Yes.
This one that you are battering your shirts. These rebuttals are going to be interesting.
Oh, no. I mean, but spade is spade. You understand me? And there is a clear difference between a nuisance tax and a task that is by choice.
Progressive.
When they see something as nuisance, basic definition that there is, it's inconvenient, it's burdensome, right? It's like a burden. It's people or the payer feels unfair. Now, that is the definition that was given to e-levy. All right? And before a tax is introduced, there are reasons for the introduction of the tax. What was the reason that was given for the introduction of e-levy? We need to be clear on that. Number two, what are the reasons given for the introduction of the energy sector levy? Very clear. Number one, there was so much of debt on the energy sector that we needed to clear. In fact, prior to today, we had what we call the OSLA.
Yeah.
And this same OSLA, which was supposed to have been used to clear the energy sector debt, was used as a collateral.
Yeah. 36 billion was accumulated.
Now,
how much? 37.
36 billion between 2017 and 2024.
Okay.
And it was not used to clear the debt.
it was used as a collateral instead of using to clear the debt. But two, the energy sector was threatened. The power sector was threatened, let me put it that way. We were owing the IPPs, that's the independent power producers, so much money that they threatened to stop producing power. Government needed to step in. And now if I'm a businessman and you are owing me and you say you would pay me, there should be some form of guarantee to show that indeed you can pay. And so they introduced this one so that the power producers and our other creditors would have the assurance that there is something in that we can use to pay you off, even if you continue to provide us your services. You understand me? Now, this 1 cedi that we are putting on is not only to pay debts, but it's also to create some money for us to invest in the energy sector. Now, from 2017 till the end of 2024, this is not propaganda, this is not a strict. ECG themselves, VRA themselves, have stated that there was not a single investment in the energy sector. We didn't say it. Their reports are there to say. And we all agree that there ought to be some investment there in terms of infrastructure and even the power generation. All right? You'd have some transformers that have never been replaced since they were installed. We had a lot of issues in terms of infrastructure, which was clearly stated, being part of the problems they were having. In fact, there were some would say they had overproduced, but indeed there were shortages of power production.
That's our December.
It was in
700
deficit.
megawatts deficit.
It was in deficit.
December 2024.
And we have to be able to mitigate.
Okay.
So, you see,
whilst you're at it, I'm not cutting you, but whilst you're at it, persons like Doctor, who said he had published extensively on this, and some stakeholders have also said that the problem is structural.
No, I'm coming there.
You certainly know where I'm going,
yes,
right?
Yes, if you allow me. And you see, once we are able to deal with the matter, all right, with having that level of assurance and guarantee that this is how much we are able to generate, then we would now come into the matter of structure and management. All right? The strategy to be able to deal with the waste in the system. All right? Aside the waste in the system when it comes to power generation, we should also be able to deal with the waste in the revenue collection.
You don't want to deal with that before you start looking for investment?
They go hand in hand.
Okay.
See, the monies are not just being collected. The monies are being collected, the taxes are being put in place as a form of an assurance to these persons who have interest in investing, to these independent power producers so that they do not cut off the power production. You would recall that they threatened, they issued letters here and there that they are going to stop the power production. They needed some level of assurance. And of course, the Minister for Energy, John Jinapo, they have put in place some measures to be able to deal with the issues of structure and management. And yesterday, if you had listened to him, he was very emphatic on the structural management of ECG and was it BOST or Toma? I've forgotten one of them. He mentioned one other agency that is under him. He was very clear on it. And so if we all would agree, Mifa, the 1 cedi levy or so is a necessary evil. Nobody desires to pay. But where we have gotten to, do we have an option? Let us give ourselves that opportunity to be able to deal with the matter as stated.
Okay.
Now,
I'm going to be distributing 3 minutes.
One fundamental question I would want you to ask the many people who have published papers on this, that aside identifying the challenges and the problems and the other, have they been able to propose?
There was a proposal, privatization.
To be able to, but private.
Many have said, I see the government engaging private sector. But
listen, we in the Movement for Change, in our great transformational plan, had proposed privatization, the privatization of certain sectors of or branches of the ECG. Because, listen, it's a national security asset. Let's be honest. If you put it in the hands of a private man, Zato, when he wakes up from the wrong side of the pillow, you decide to put the whole country off.
Add your ending statement.
What he has here? You decide to put it off.
Because I have 2 minutes to share for Honorable.
He wakes up and then he goes, Jewa, says, Ghana, off. So, you see, we have proposed that you deal with the issue, especially with the revenue collections. Those are the areas you should be privatizing.
Okay.
All right? The metering, the billings, these are the non-core.
The very cancerous areas of ECG.
These are the non-core. The core areas of ECG, you should not privatize these. So it's a necessary evil.
Please have your
I think that we should be able to manage our expectations in all of these things but I think the ministers are doing well. They are putting in some measures.
Yeah. When you ask Doc what measures, if he disagrees with the 1 cedi levy, he didn't outline any measures. But let me tell you, in 2016, when President Mahama was in office, he enacted the ESLA law. He left office in 2017, and between January 2017 and December 2024, 36 billion Ghana cedis was accrued to deal with the energy sector debt. That was misapplied. They didn't use to deal with the debt. Now, coming back to office, debt there has ballooned to over $3.1 billion. That is aside what will be required to procure fuel to get our lights on. So we are in a very difficult situation. And government is not only introducing this measure, but concurrently, there are multiplicity of measures that are in place. One, the private participation in the revenue mobilization billing.
Would you agree with me if you say that? Would you agree with me? And I'll allow you
concurrently.
Would you agree with me that it's not that they didn't use the funds? Of course, the other.
But it was. I'm a member of parliament. It was set up purposely to deal with the energy sector. So if you collect it and you say you use it to build roads, and the energy sector debt is there, is it not misapplication? I'm not saying they chopped the money, but they misapplied. They didn't deal with the situation.
Okay.
If the issue has been dealt with, the energy sector debt had been dealt with, we wouldn't be here today.
Okay.
I normally don't want to go back and apportion blames, but they are the cause of the situation we have at the moment, and this government is confronting the situation head on. Apart from introducing this, we are seeking for private sector bailing and mobilization to reduce commercial losses. That is one. Two, this very government is now, plans are far advanced to build another gas plant. It was NDC government that built the Tuabo gas plant, and you know, that provides us with cheaper fuel to power our plant. 8 years, they didn't do anything. We are back in, apart from these measures, we are now building another plant, so our reliance on fossil fuel will be reduced. Again,
that's your final one.
Prudent procurement. I told you that 6 months in 2025 compared with 6 months in 2024, you spent 60% less than what was spent, and savings made in thereof is contributing to reducing the energy sector debt. Again, the minister has signed KPIs, key performance indicators, with the management of ECG. The management of ECG has signed KPIs with their regional managers, and we're going to strictly monitor. Again, this government is deploying renewable energy policies across, and all most public buildings, schools, clinics are going to have solar panels on their rooftops. Okay. And that will save us a lot of energy from the grid. Really so there are multiplicity, of measures alongside this, so that in 3-4 years, we will not come back and ask Ghanaians to pay more. Okay. So it is not as if the government is introducing this as the only measure to deal with the problem.
Thank you. Don't be sinister.
How do you allow a potential propagandist to take the last bite?
The last bite, yes. And you see,
no, I will not allow. How do you describe him as a propagandist? He is a political analyst.
No, I'm not taking that away from you. Dog is NPP. He's NPP communicator. Let us put that on record. That is what I told you. Just last year,
please take the
he was on the ballot of NPP primaries,
I see that ballot,
and he was annihilated by Chinia. He lost the primaries, but when he comes on there, he comes as a political analyst. So let us give him the credentials as MPP.
Please land well. Please land and don't break your legs.
Honorable, no. Clear the vetting to contest on the ticket of political party. You've been an active member for at least 4 years.
Honorable, no, please.
At least 4 years. Otherwise,
let him have his bites.
Please.
Look, he's my very good friend, so...
At the beginning of this show, I said the movement of the change in the NDC, I won. I and my party, I won. People thought I was lying. You've seen it. You've seen this is what we call verifiable evidence. The movement for change in the NDC, they are one and the same. You've just seen.
Look, in January 2024,
secondly,
did you contest on the ticket of party?
You see. The one is what you secondly.
Is that propaganda?
Secondly. Honorable.
Okay, ask him for me. Was he...
Be fair.
Was he on the ballot?
Be fair, no.
Was
That's
he
not what we are
defeated by
discussing
Chinia
today. That's what we are discussing
in the NPP primaries in Sisala East?
Honorable, go on. Did I just call you honorable?
Yes. You want the, you know, he's losing his boot.
No.
He's losing his boot for 2028. I know.
Doc, please go on. Doc, please go on.
Honorable, I understand you. You go explain tire. But this is the reality. And Ghanaians are watching. This year alone, your utility bills have risen by almost 50%. Anywhere from 25 to 50%. Your water and electricity. The reason for that you were told is to use it to solve doomsday. And then at one point we were told that there's no doomsday. So they were increasing these prices to solve the non-existent doomsday. But that is the price to stabilize electricity. Just this week, your fuel prices too have increased. So just if you want to put a cumulative increase of the taxes on the energy sector alone, you are getting anywhere from 25 to 50% on ordinary Ghanaians. That is the financial burden that has been shoved down your throat by this government. That is the financial burden shoved under your throat by the Aban Papa that has come. So the Aban Papa has come, and this is what you are doing. I understand why the Honorable Minister, MP, thinks that he should go through all this to try to tell you that, please swallow the bitter pill. I can understand why the minister is telling you that, please, I know we didn't promise you to burden you with taxes. I know we didn't promise to make you suffer under burden. If you are an Okada driver today, you are paying more for your fuel. If you are a Motor King driver today, you are paying more for your fuel. If you are a taxi driver, if you are a truck driver, you are paying more for your fuel. That price will pass on to we consumers. We, the ordinary consumers, are going to face it. Meanwhile, how much was our annual salaries increase? Meanwhile, look at what is happening to ordinary people like us. So I can understand why you explain, Taya, and I can understand why both you and the Movement for Change, you are uncomfortable talking about the burden you are putting on Ghanaians. But Ghanaians know, and Ghanaians will remember this, and Ghanaians will know that these were the draconian taxes you put on them at this particular moment, and they won't forget.
You.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Doc. Thank you, Nanayao. Thank you so much. I don't have 30 seconds to give. I don't have it. We'll continue tomorrow, but thank you. Thank you so much for news review. And I've had Dr. Joshua Zato, senior lecturer, political analyst from the University of Ghana. I've also had Dixon Tredia, MP, Brekum West. And then I've also had Nanayao Sapon, Movement for Change, today on News Review. I promise you I'll get a photo of Dr. Zato, whether indeed he contested, and then we'll put. Thank you so much. Please stay. You're watching the AM show.
So ask me.
Oh my God.
You're watching the AM show, and thank you for staying with us. Well, as government embarks on a regional quota recruitment into the security service to create opportunity for all, what's really the socio-political impact of this move, and how does this change the face of security in the country? Plus, really, the twists and turns in the fight against Galamsey, as small-scale miners also call out some political actors and demand the return of the unlawful seizure of their excavators and an end to extortion. Now, joining us today on phone is Professor Kwesi Enin, who is a security consultant. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Well, so this one, I want a bit of education this morning, and I'd want to do some learning even before we get into the details of security implications. What does it really mean when the government says that they want to decentralize recruitment? Would it be very different from the kind of reforms that we have seen in the past or over the years?
No, I think it's an enhancement and an improvement, bringing recruitment to the doorstep of people, bringing regional balance, giving everybody an opportunity to serve Ghana. But I think it's all an aspect of deepening national integration and ensuring that we have a rounded security agencies that responds to the needs and expectations of the people of Ghana.
Are there any risk and consequences at all?
Well, I mean, if we have that attitude, we can always see risk and negative aspects. I want to see this as a positive, open, transparent process in which the notion of protocol recruitment, I am a big woman, I am a big man, do you know who I am? Take my child. Okay, we have histories of excessive protocol enlistment of people who are not qualified, being accepted, and some very unfortunate, tragic incidents happening. So let's give everybody who is qualified a chance. We're going to centralize this. It's not everybody who can travel to either Accra, Kumasi. Okay, so for me, anything that broadens the base for engagement and recruitment, that is fair and reflective of the people who make up the diversity of this country. Then that's very interesting.
Okay. Prof, while you recognize that this is quite good, would you also say that this country currently, do we need it at all? Is it an emergency? Do we need it?
need what? An increase in the numbers? We don't have enough numbers.
Okay.
And if you do a threat assessment or the possible challenges that we face in this country, or that we can potentially face in terms of the security conundrum that we find ourselves in, then I think we need the recruitment. But it's not just the recruitment. Adequate equipment, appropriate equipment, that better intelligence, an improved doctrine. And I think we have a new set of military leaders who seem to have their finger on the pulse. Now, and I know, that in the last couple of years, there's been quite some disturbing levels of corruption at the very height of the armed forces. We experience the excessive brutalities across this country. And if you follow the story, there's been this case of some really run-down armored tanks that were purchased and sent to South Sudan. So there's a whole new need for reflection and for saying, how do we build an armed forces that is responsive to the ever-changing, both domestic and external threats? We have not been able to deal very well with Galamsey, Rosewood, all sorts of things. Now, if you look at the challenges of Accra dollar power and it raises fundamental questions as to why these things have been allowed to go on.
Yeah.
Because if you combine what is in the National Security Strategy document plus what is in the Security and Intelligence Services Act 1030, plus what is in the Signals Act, then people have failed us in this country horribly. Because what the issues inside those documents have not been used to protect the people of this country. And that is why I'm talking about issues around doctrine and new leadership, recruitment that focuses on building a team of Ghanaians who have voluntarily decided to dedicate their lives to protecting all of us. So from where I sit, I think it's very necessary.
I mean, you have talked about the Ghana Armed Forces. Let's explore the leadership of the other security agencies and how much they have a grip on personnel and even operations. And I ask this because of the decentralization. On the outlook, do you think that they would have much or major grip on the decentralization bit of this?
Well, why shouldn't they? I mean, if they don't have a grip on the decentralization, because the planning, the design would have been done in consonance with the leaders of these institutions. So let leaders lead. Let them be bold enough to speak up. Okay?
Yes.
And I know that being a leader who speaks up, who wants to stop corruption and theft in his institution, who wants to stop mafia-style behavior, who wants to say these are the principles and the norms and the values that we have, so I want to apply them. That leader will not become friends to people. Okay? But even when there's resistance, those leaders must tell their stories. So don't sit down and let the political class do things, and then you come back later and tell us, there was an order from above. If that order from above does not fit the ethos of your institution and your belief as to how the institution must be led to deliver, then you are not fit for purpose. So I believe that the leaders of all the allied institutions will play a critical role in the discussions going on and the implementation of those discussions. Otherwise, then we cannot come down or come back 2 days later and then to say that, there was political interference, and therefore leaders in this country must start the process of standing up and protecting their institutions and driving them the way they want the institutions to be driven and to achieve the set objectives.
Well, Prof, it's interesting that you even talked about Galamsey and how we're fighting it earlier. Now, just yesterday, the Ghana National Association of Small-Scale Miners, they have a concern. They say that in the name of tax force, they have had some rogue persons posing as tax force and they're extorting from them, seizing their excavators as well. And they're calling for an end to this. Before we get into that, tell me as of today.
I have only 10 minutes because I need to examine my students now.
Okay. We'll just wrap on this particular one, especially because I want to know how you would assess currently the security apparatus and their grip on the fight against the Galamsey generally in the natural resources sector.
Look, I think there must be root and branch reform and design of the involvement of different security agencies in the Galamsey fight. The Galamsey fight does not only threaten our environment, the economy, people's lives, but it threatens the efficacy and the sanctity of the institutions, all the institutions that are involved. I think your station has demonstrated over time the corruption and the collusion of different institutions who have been sent to fight Galamsey, rather becoming corrupted. I think Erastus Donko's world-class, interviews and exposés, proves that point. The Constitution is clear about the formation of armed forces and other allied security services. Now, I have made clear that establishing alternative and competing task forces, that in which some of them have the powers of the police, but are not of the police, is creating danger for us into the future, because it will result in disarmament processes that are always fraught with tensions, misunderstandings, and violence. The demobilization of such people, and the question becomes, how do we reintegrate them into society? Where? And the cost. So I think that the rush to establish all these task forces and knowing the kind of people we are and our love for the allure of gold and corruption, that without careful planning, we are laying the basis. Eventually, when we want to disarm for alternative armed forces, willing and prepared to take the fight to us.
Well, Prof, I'd let you go and conduct that exams this morning. Thank you so much for making time for us here on the AM show today. It's quite a developing story, and we'll definitely come to you whenever we can. Thank you so much.
Yes, please. Yes, please. And thank you so very much. Thank you.
You're watching the AM show. Do stay with us. There's more on the show. You're watching the AM show, and now we've got some good news because we have a team From the Design and Technology Institutes, we've been talking about them already on the show here. DTI, Ghana's first private TVET institute, which aims to become the leading industrial job training and prototype center in West Africa, transforming youth TVET livelihoods. DTI believes education is crucial for creating opportunities, and it provides exceptional technical and vocational training to equip learners with the skills needed to thrive in today's competitive job market. And with over 300,000 young people entering the labor force annually, the gap between academic training and industry needs that lead the many institutes to also explore more proactive strategies to career readiness. So this morning, I'm joined by the team, Mubarak Ahmed, Industry and Workplace Coordinator, just to my immediate left, and Ruth Kujo, Workplace and Experience Learning Placement Center. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us this morning. But quickly, we've been telling them about you already, but maybe Ruth, tell me a little bit more about DTI.
Okay, so...
Are you okay?
Right. So thank you for having us. And I would say a good morning to your cherished listeners. So the Design and Technology Institute is an internationally accredited technical and vocational education institution by the American Welders Society, Pearson BizTech, and also the Commission for Technical and Vocational Education. DTI is a center of excellence, and we provide specialized skills training programs for young people. We have on-campus training programs, and we have off-campus training programs. So for the off-campus training programs, we offer precision quality training to mastercraft people, artisans, and businesses. And we also offer precision quality internship to graduates to reskill or upskill and then provide them with employability skills. Now at the Institute, for the on-campus training programs, we have 3 programs at the Institute. We have a precision welding and fabrication program that seeks to train young people how to identify metals, cut them, join them together, tack them, and then weld them to perfection. We also have a program in design innovation. It's in 2 parts. We have the multimedia and the CAD/CAM. So multimedia, we train young people in programs such as animation, graphic design, sound engineering, photography, videography. Then we also have a program in computer-aided manufacturing and computer-aided design.
That sounds
and the courses that falls under it is architecture, drafting, robotics, and design for manufacturing. Then lastly, we have a program also in entrepreneurship.
Okay.
So the duration for training is 1 year, 6 months. So we train the students for 1 year, then we transition them to industry to do 6 months of what we call the Workplace Experience Learning Program, after which they will have graduated from the institution. Then we handhold and support them to get dignified and fulfilling work opportunities.
That's excellent. I'll stay with you, Mubarak. Tell us about the Jobs and Opportunity Fairs, which I know is coming up.
Okay, so thank you very much for that also. So the DTI Jobs and Opportunities Fair was launched to bridge the gap between talent and opportunity. It's a platform that seeks to connect job seekers and students with top-tier organization for opportunities such as networking, opportunities such as career guidance and counseling, mentorship, for recruitment, that is job, and also for entrepreneurial handholding. DTI, in partnership with the MasterCard Foundation for the past 5 years, has been organizing internal job and opportunities fair for our students to connect them with our industry partners, to prepare them before we transition them to the world of work. But this year, we felt that a lot more young people needed the opportunity more than just our students. So we decided to open it up so that they can also benefit from the program. So it seeks to connect job seekers, students, with top-tier institutions so that they can handhold them, mentor them, career coaching and all that, and how they can succeed in the world of work.
Okay. Ruth, I'll come to you. I mean, this is quite a popular question, but just for you to rehash, why is it so difficult for the youth or young people in this country to secure jobs?
Yes, so it's also a very important question because we realize that most often than not, young people come out of schools and there's a gap between their skill set and what industry actually requires. So we realize that in terms of their soft skills, communication, critical thinking, problem solving, and even their technical skills, they don't really meet up to what industry really requires. And mostly it's because of the training, which sometimes is mostly outdated, let me say it like that. And then also because things have moved on very fast with the technological trends, things have moved on very fast in industry. So that gap exists. And so we at DTI believe that with the right training and with the right exposure and connection to industry, we will be able to bridge that gap that exists. So mostly it's because of that gap in skills between what students get from school and what industry actually requires when it comes to the world of work.
It's refreshing to know that you're finding some solution to this very big problem. Exactly. But Mubarak, I'll come to you. What kind of businesses are participating in this fair?
Okay, so thank you for that important question. So at the job fair, we'll have diverse range of businesses and organizations participating, reflecting key sectors of the economy and emerging job market needs and trends. So we'll have companies, we'll have corporate companies and private sector institutions. We'll have academic institutions, we'll have government sector agencies. We will also have creative media companies, we'll have engineering companies. So the list is a lot. I would also want at this point to say shout out to our headline sponsors, Fidelity Bank Ghana, the Glyco Group, and the Telecel Ghana as well.
Okay, yes. Okay. Ruth, I'll come to you. Still on the fair, how long does the program run? What should participants expect, both the businesses and even the people that would enroll?
So the program is a 2-day event starting tomorrow and ending on Saturday. It's starting from 8 a.m. running through till 5 p.m. each day. And we are hoping that participants would, for employers, they would find the talents that they are looking for, because some of them are coming with open vacancies and roles that they want to hire for. We are hoping that they will be able to find that. And we are hoping that participants or job seekers will be able to connect to industry. They'll be able to find mentorship opportunities. They'll be able to, for as Mubarak indicated, we have students who are also doing entrepreneurship and they have business ideas. We are hoping that they'll be able to find the right partnerships, you know, to develop their business ideas into viable products and services. We're also hoping that that networking and connection will be created, because it's an opportunities fair as well. So even if you don't land a job, you are creating the network to find the next available opportunity.
Absolutely.
So these are the expectations that we have.
Mubarak, I hope it's not too late for businesses that want to participate to be part, and how can they be part?
Right. So it is not late for businesses to participate. If you're a business and you want to participate in the Job and Opportunities Fair, you'd have to fill a registration form. So the registration form will help us to collect key information such as your organizational profile, and then it will also help us to know the opportunities that you have that you want to offer to the young people. So if you are coming there to offer internship opportunities, if you are coming there to recruit, if you are coming to coach and mentor the young people, and if you are coming to participate in our workshop and panel discussions, we would enroll you. So to be able to do this, you have to go to the DTI website.
Okay.
So you have to go to dtiafrica.com. Then you would see the registration link at the bottom. Okay. So when you click on the registration link, it redirects you to the form. Then you can fill your information, then submit to us. Now, for participants as well, if you are not a business and you are a young graduate, you are a student, and you also want to participate in the fair, it's the same procedure. Okay. So when you go there, there are two links, one link for businesses and one link for participants. So you click on the participant link, and then you'll be able to register from there. But if you are unable to do that also, you can reach out to the organizers of the event, and we'll gladly register you. Okay. And for participants, again, if you are not able to do these two, you can just show up at the University of Ghana City Conference Center tomorrow, and then we can register you from there and then usher you into the event. Thank you.
Ruth, finally, I like to think that businesses or participants may have some questions. You have just shared the link and how they can be part, but maybe they have questions to ask before they want to be part of it. Is there a way they can reach out? How can they do that?
Yes, so they can reach out to us on our numbers, 053-6519-313. And Mubarak, you can also add their other contacts.
Yes, so they can also reach out to us through 054-796-5419. I'll take it again, 054-796-5419.
Thank you so much, Ruth. Thank you so much, Mubarak. Team from DTI, you want to take this opportunity, if you're a business or if you're a young person and you want to participate. You're watching the AM show. Stay with us because my colleague Samuel Kujebre sat with Dr. Tony Aidoo, former ambassador to the Netherlands, and they discussed a host of things you don't want to miss. We're bringing it up to you now.
Greetings to you wherever you are watching the AM show on the Joy News channel. Today we're privileged to have a statesman, someone who's been part of the fabric of the democracy of this country for all these years since we entered the Fourth Republic and even before. I mean, this is a man who's been a former deputy defense minister, someone who's been a member of the consultative committee that drafted the 1992 Constitution, the document that currently still dictates to us how to go about our democracy in this country. He's been someone who has been a senior presidential aide and head of the policy evaluation and oversight unit of the Office of the President. You remember the late President Atamils from 2009 to 2013. He's also a former Ghana's ambassador to the Netherlands. And this is a man who has been around and so has a lot of experience in the issues that concerns the motherland Ghana. Today, we have him here to have this chat with him. Dr. Tony Aidoo, good morning to you and thanks for coming.
Good morning.
We're grateful
Thank you.
We're grateful that you've hosted us in your house.
Okay.
My
pleasure.
I would want us to start from the latest development in Ghana. I'm sure on Friday you sat by your TV to monitor proceedings in Ablekuma North.
I did.
As you watched what was unfolding, what was going through your mind?
I said, which direction is Ghana's democratic practice going? And I was quite perturbed, especially since the police standing by were not doing anything to stop the chaos. And also the victim was a woman. Of course, she's a very controversial one, but that does not justify her being assaulted. I don't know what she did to provoke the onslaught of that incident. But whatever it is, it represents a historical phase that appear to be persistent. 1992, when we started the multi-party democracy, there was an NDC chairman at Ifia Kusimintim who was killed and burned. It was rationalized as an internal dispute between him and some NDC members. Then came 1996. During the campaign, one NDC guy called Gruponi was also murdered. This time, clear evidence point to NPP people beating this man to death. Since then, it seems every election, especially by-election, seems to attract one violence or another. And I begin to wonder whether this democracy is worth it. Because the common people don't seem to be benefiting from it. And yet, they are the active participants in political violence. And such violence creates a culture of lawlessness. But you see, lawlessness seems to be the characteristic feature of Ghanaian society. There's hardly any facet of our country's endeavor and behavior that is not characterized by lawlessness. The police, the military, the civilian, the churches, and the wider society, the government personnel, and so on and so forth. We have become a nation of sycophants to the extent that as soon as one government changes and another regime replaces it, all allegiance is switched to the new government. But your loyalty is not to the regime, it's to the Constitution. If you're a public and civil servant, you don't owe the new regime anything beyond your constitutional duties. And this is what doesn't seem to permeate the behavioral disposition of Ghanaian public and civil servants. But you see, this lawlessness and sycophancy reared its head during the Kufuor regime. It was from 2001 when President Kufuor started planting party people at the ministries as special advisors and so on and so forth. That's when something clicked and the professionalism of the civil and public servant disappeared.
It had not happened prior to him?
No. I was not here during the Buzia regime, so I wouldn't know. And the PNDC regime was a military one, military cum civilian. So I cannot use that as an example. But as a kid growing up under the Nkrumah regime, we had a civil service that saw the Constitution as a prime controller, as a prime instrument, demanding the loyalty and performance of your duties. Today it's not like that. And this is very bad for the future of Ghanaian democracy.
So, I mean, you say that the police were standing by, doing nothing.
Yeah. I wonder why.
Would you blame the hierarchy and the sort of command they gave the police?
I don't know. The Minister for Interior, Montaka, was on air, I think, during the Meet the Press series today.
Yeah.
There were so many questions asked of him, but that question was never put to him. Whether the indolence or apathy of the police during that incident was the result of directives given to them or because of the cultural phenomenon which I call sycophancy, that this is political. So let's stand down and watch. It's no good. You cannot get the trust of citizens if you behave like that. You see? And like I said earlier, our society seems to be characterized by increasing lawlessness. Every facet of our activity is governed by self-interest and disobedience of the law.
And how does that make you feel as someone who believed so much in the democracy? As I'm sure when we started in 1992 and we were going to be ushered into the Fourth Republic, you had a certain trust and belief that Ghana will work. But looking at what is happening, do you still hold on to those beliefs you started out in 1992?
It's not belief, expectations, and my desire that we will open a new light of democracy. But we seem to have defined the democracy in such limited terms that it finds expression in only successive elections. Beyond that, what else? Do the common people reap benefits from the democracy? What has happened is the creation of a privileged political class and their cohorts. And they keep changing, musical chairs. Every 8 years, you go and we'll come and we will chop and you go. That is not what we conceived to be the democratic path. I recall during the consultative assembly when we started, every member was allowed to make a statement. My statement was that we shouldn't copy blindly, that systems which have worked somewhere else will not necessarily work under different environment. Development is not a linear thing, that every stage should be traveled by every country. That's not it. That was the statement I made. And I wanted to see a new face of commitment to democracy, but we haven't seen that. Government after government. It doesn't matter which party is in power. The result is violence upon violence. Lawlessness upon lawlessness. Why? Is it the fault of the political leadership? No. As a sociologist, I'm inclined to view Karl Marx, as one of the best philosophers we have seen, because his theory pinpointed methodologically where we should look for cause and effect. Structuralism was his approach. The structural impulses within any society is what promotes behavior. And
so we cannot blame the political leadership that stood by and watched what happened in Ablekuma.
We have to blame ourselves too. You see, the situation is intersubjective. What I mean is, there's the system, there's the action. When they are fused together, you cannot look for causes in the system alone or in the action alone. Okay. It has to be intersubjective. But is it a chicken and egg argument? The way we started is very problematic. Osafo Mafo was the chairman of the representation of the People's Committee. And when the time came for us to debate the constitutional chapter on the Council of State, I stood up. And I mean, 4 hours we debated it. I wanted the Council of State to be represented as a second chamber, in which members will represent occupational groups. Every occupation will find a candidate and put it in their Council of State. I gave it to Osafo Mafo, I remember. He never tabled it.
Osafo Mafo.
Yao Osafo Mafo. He was the chairman. Yeah. So when we went to plenary, for 4 hours, my amendments against the establishment of the Council of State was the discussion. It got to the point at which I got frustrated, and I said I will withdraw this amendment because I didn't see that it was going to create such a fuss. The late Sampi Yali, when I went to the lobby, sought to drag me back into the, don't give up, don't give up. I said, no, I'm tired. If people won't see sense. And so the Council of State was passed. Subsequently, we have heard President Kufuor argue for the abolition of the Council of State and its replacement by the same occupational groups. I believe that either Osafo Mafo gave him a copy of my memo Or, to do him justice, probably he also saw that it was a wise thing to do.
There are those who have argued that the presence of Madam Hawa Compson at the polling station that allegedly began all of this was uncalled for, that she should not have been there.
I wouldn't say she should not have been there.
Okay.
She had the right to be there. Mm-hmm. But you see, the very personality and behavior of Hawa Compson is so provocative that she invites problems for herself. She acts like, how shall I say, a one-woman warrior. You know.
Yasantua kind of?
Not Yasantua.
Okay.
Can never be Yasantua. Yasantua was a queen mother. Mm. She behaved in the strictest manner that was expected of a queen mother. But this one, a rabble-rouser wherever she goes. But nonetheless, I don't think she deserved to be attacked. And I believe the government must do something about it in terms of identifying the culprits and bringing them to book.
Do you believe that will happen?
Is history going to repeat itself? You see, the NDC, as a political party, has a greater moral responsibility. Not because it is now in power, but by virtue of its historical process of becoming, imbued with the principles of probity, accountability, and social justice. So the standard of judging the performance of the government, especially of the NDC government, must be higher. And therefore, it is up to President Mahama that history does not repeat itself, like happened at Ayawaso. Ayawaso was a state-sponsored thuggery. This was not. But nonetheless, the NDC still bear responsibility because the people involved are alleged to have come from the NDC. There is no evidence, but it is up to the police to identify who the culprits are.
For the benefit of the doubt, how do you differentiate between Ayawaso being a state-sponsored and Ablekuma North not being a state-sponsored?
Oh, but you saw it. The whole 8 years of Akufo-Addo regime was a fascist organization. Fascist. From the way they dress, brown jackets and so on and so on, just like Hitler, to the bravado with which they attack people. State-sponsored. Not only were they identifiable as state personnel from the security services, but they were armed. Where did they get the guns from? And how come the police were so immobilized? Because the police couldn't do anything, knowing that these people are coming from the national security.
Does it come to you as a surprise when after Ayawaso, the security could not do anything, Ablekuma North, the security could not do anything?
That's the sycophancy I'm talking about. The lack of professionalism. You look to see who is in power and you act accordingly. And that shouldn't be. Our public and civil servants must come to know that their loyalty is to the Constitution, not to the regime. So professionalism must be exhibited automatically.
People, I've seen people calling for the head of the IGP for superintending over what happened in Ablekuma, the men not being able to do anything.
He was not there.
But
there could have been an officer in charge of operations. So the investigation must embrace this officer.
Okay.
How come your men behave like they were dolts, standing by and watching the chaos go on? We must be transparent and accountable.
Should the president have spoken by now on it?
The president is not in the country. I have this morning learned from a brief interview of Chamima Muslim that the vice president has issued a statement. I haven't seen the statement. The same with Muntaka, who said the vice president has issued a statement, but I haven't seen a statement. So I don't know what is going on.
Were you looking forward to that particular statement, or a government position, or what happened?
I think so. I think so. The government must speak, if for no other reason than to disassociate itself from the people who misbehave like that. And the party too has a duty to identify. Why should our inter-party politics become so violent? I was personally assaulted at the traffic light of Adabraka. 8 years later, the man comes to me and says, there are rumors going on that I was the one who assaulted you. I said, you are. He said, oh, but even though I use a Tigo, I said, have I mentioned Tigo car? I know it's you who assaulted me. But 8 years is a long time. I bear you no rancor. He was guilty. His guilty conscience was pushing him towards me to more or less say it wasn't you, or you thought I had forgotten his face and that kind of thing. But that's the nature of the politics that is going on. And it's not acceptable.
Does it scare you?
I was born in the midst of political conflict and violence at Ashanti Newtown. I've seen a woman killed in broad daylight, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, in the most brutal, barbaric way. I was one of the school children who used to, over the weekend, we go to in those days, you have rubbish dumps. And there was an attendant, and now and then he will burn the rubbish dump. So we go and look for empty bottles, wash it out, and every morning going to school, I'll deposit my collection at Chiame Akoto's house, because it was on the way to my school, Kumasi State School. You know what the bottles were for? For his action troopers, led by one Edusei, thump into a soda, shaking and throw it, bomb. Why? So I'm not afraid. But what I'm worried about is the longevity. How long should this be tolerated? And to what extent will it destroy our society? Are we going to wait till it becomes open warfare? Or are we going to stop it now? That is something that we need to do.
We have Akwatia by-election to go for. Akwatia has been in the news before for similar electoral violence. With what is happening in Ablekuma North, how can the state prevent something similar in Akwatia?
That's up to the police. They have the responsibility. Because what did we have? We had Chirpani, was it? We had Etiwa. We had, well, there were so many, including Ayawasu, West Wugon, and so on and so forth. So should every by-election be characterized by violence. Dampari, whatever his faults, managed to secure people from violence during the Asin North elections. I think the current IGP must take a leaf from Dampari's tactics and use it. There is no harm in learning from somebody. We are all learning. And we learn by experience. So I urge the IGP to take note of the need to prevent a recurrent episode at Akutiao.
You've been a former defense minister before. This happened on Friday. Some faces live on camera. Our young lady was assaulted. You could see men being brutally assaulted.
Actually, I saw the young lady, but I don't think the guy hit her. He made a threatening move towards her. The young lady backed into her friends. Well, threatening can be reclassified as assault anyway.
There was one that you saw the young man assaulting her.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Another one.
So her eye, her I think was the right eye, was reddish.
That's bad.
Now, so after all this, we're still being told that the police is looking at the CCTV footages. Is that enough? If we have not been able to pinpoint one or two faces as being the culprit?
Well, if police investigation is going to reveal the full facts of the incident, that's okay. But that it will not be like previous incidents where the police had the responsibility of investigating and bringing out reports and they just shelved the issue. This time, it's not because Howard Kumsin was assaulted. Every assault is an assault. Doesn't matter whether it's Kwekufori or the president's children who are assaulted. The law must not discriminate.
In fact, there was a man who was brutally assaulted live on television.
I see.
But a lot of people were just beating him.
I haven't seen that one.
Oh, okay.
I saw the Howard Kumsin one.
Okay, okay. Interesting. But must the security concerning elections be left only to the police? Because people argue that had the military been around, the youth could not have done what they did.
No. Using military for internal security is not advisable.
Okay.
The military can be used for more important things, that is destroying our country. We feed the soldiers, we clothe them, we put them in houses. What for? Why is illegal mining going on? Where is the military? That's what they should do. Our territorial integrity is being attacked. That is what we set up the military for, not for internal security. 2 months ago, I don't know whether it was on Mansa Musa's program or on one of our local TV networks. But I said, and I'm happy that my opinion was echoed by Nyaho Nyaho Tamaklo only last week. All you need is to deploy 2 battalions, 1,000 men, supported by 2 platoons of engineers regiment, 30-30, 1,060 people. And you can flush all these illegal miners out of our forests.
Really?
Oh, yes. Because they move. At every spot where you clear, you leave 50 men to come there. 3 weeks, that's all you need. And that deployment would ensure that these people leave our waters and our forests alone.
How long will the 50 men be stationed there?
3 weeks. They are deployed for 3 weeks. That's all you need.
And after 3 weeks, the Galamseans won't come back?
No, they won't. Because they wouldn't know that you have to move out. But for the next 3 weeks, you flush them out for 3 weeks, they won't come back.
But if this will work, I'm sure you're not the only one who knows. The army hierarchy may probably know this. Why haven't we done that?
Well, you have your commander-in-chief. Why hasn't he thought about that? If the goodwill that the people of Ghana gave the NDC is going to be dissipated, it will have to be the inaction on Galamsey issues and corruption issues. So far, we've had the Attorney General in the quest for transparency coming out to reveal steps that he has taken to bring certain persons to book. But so far, we haven't seen any prosecution yet. And I don't trust the special prosecutor. He talks big, he talks small. He doesn't know what he's doing. It's a shame. Is he protecting them? Look at the mess he made of the Sierra case. Look at even the prosecution of this guy from this MC candidate.
Oh.
Yeah. He's never succeeded in any prosecution on corruption. So what are we paying him for?
But he can prosecute. But if the judges disagree with him, there's an extent to which he can perform.
If you build up your case, the judges will not ignore evidence. The judge will not ignore the evidence. But if you fail to present a convincing evidence, then that's what you're going to get from the judgment.
So you believe he's not been able to build his case as well?
No, I don't think he's building his case as well. He talks too much.
What would be your advice then?
That's my advice. Talk less, do more.
Interesting. So with the Galamsey, you don't agree with people who say shoot to kill is option. You think that deploy the men 3 weeks, they will do it?
Deploy 2 battalions, 1,000 men of infantry, and flush them out of the place.
If this government is not able to do it, will you be disappointed?
Yes, I would be. Because it was an electoral promise. And you can't take Ghanaians for a ride. Akufo-Addo didn't care. So you don't say that Ghanaians don't care about your administration, whether you fight Galamsey or not. If he doesn't solve the Galamsey problem, 2008, the Ghanaian people will vote NDC out. I'm telling you.
You mean 2028?
Yeah, 2028.
But the Akufo-Addo, you say, didn't care. Also instituted...
He was a fascist. He didn't care.
Also, what he was doing was for nothing.
What did he do?
He deployed military to go...
When people at the Jubilee House were directly involved in Galamsey. And just this morning I read that an MC in the Ashanti region also has taken the drip equipment to go and do Galamsey. So far, there is no response from this man. But what is the presidency doing? First of all, he's stealing, because to be a thief is to take possession of another man's property without his authority, with the intention of using it. And he's using it for illegal purposes, if it is true. Then there is this allegation against a regional chairman of the NDC in the Western region.
Okay, so a constituency chairman.
Constituency chairman.
Yes, please.
Why? And yet you promised the people of Ghana that you were going to uproot Galamsey. These people are killing us slowly. Right now, if you're drinking water, you are scared. The food that you eat, you are scared. whether it's not contaminated by metals. This is an assault on our territorial integrity, and that's a job for the army. 1,000 men, 2 battalions, flush them out. If necessary, shoot to kill. Because they are killing us.
Are we against the human rights?
What human rights? Are they observing the human rights of 32 million Ghanaians? These people, are they observing it? Do they care? Look at the devastation that they are doing to our forests. And they should not have an excuse that I'm only a worker and I work for somebody. During Akufo-Addo's time, you saw clips of people brazenly saying, what kind of behavior is this? The average Ghanaian only understands buga buga.
But at least in this government, 6 months, they've launched the Blue Water Initiative.
What Blue Water? 6 months is long enough. 6 months is long enough.
They've launched the Blue Initiative. They're now saying that Gold Board is the only entity in charge of buying gold. Are these not the right steps?
Well, these are recommendable policies. But stop the galamsey. Stop the illegal mining. Stop the damage to our waters and our forests. That is of prime importance. Because whatever policy measures and programs you have put in place will not yield the requisite results if you don't stop the galamsey and the wanton destruction of our environment.
Would you support people who say, declare the state of emergency and let's deal with this?
I'm sure they are right. What damage would the declaration of a state of emergency cause the government? Or foreign investment or local investment? What damage? You are not going to issue a perpetual state of emergency. And the state of emergency need not cover even the whole territory. You say the forest reserves and our waters are no-go areas for all kinds of people, unless authorized. Forestry officers will be authorized to enter. They are outside the bound. Anybody else found there must be prosecuted. And I thought President Mahama said that any MC or DC whose area or district is found to be entertaining galamsey will be dismissed instantly. So all these discoveries of people engaging in galamsey, what has happened to the DCEs? Because they must know. You can't be a hypocrite. You shouldn't be a hypocrite. There is no reason for you to be selective in your administration of justice. That is not democracy. We are all equal before the law. What is good for the goods is good for the gander.
"6 months. Do you have a period after which, if nothing is done in the fight against galamsey as you expect, will you say you are disappointed?
I'm already disappointed in the fight against galamsey. I hope it's not just rhetoric, that more positive steps and actions will be undertaken. But so far as every day people are discovered, Chinese people, local people are discovered in our forests, it goes against the grain of the government. And I'm disappointed. 6 months is long enough.
That's your party. Have you called them? to express your frustration?
No.
Why?
There's no need. We have people who think. People who think.
But you are an elder of the party, so if they are going somewhere that...
I don't think I'm considered as an elder, even though I'm approaching 80 years. There's no event involving elders of the country that have ever been invited. And yet the president knows my age. Last time, I think the presidency hosted elderly citizens. I never got an invitation. But it doesn't bother me. I'm not looking forward to be invited. I've shaken hands with many presidents and monarchs all the way to Japan. I've sat down and ate with the Emperor of Japan. So, I'm not perturbed.
Could it be because you endorsed Baumia in the race for the presidency?
Oh, Mr. Flip-Flopper. The man is not trustworthy. He's not trustworthy at all.
But you endorsed him?
I never endorsed him.
Okay.
How did I endorse him? That article that came, I think 2017 or so, says that Dr. Aidoo says there is no economist in the NDC who can match Baumia. I never said that.
Okay.
I said the mistake of the NDC is that they never tackled Baumia to expose his lies. That's precisely the statement I make. I was in the Netherlands at the time. And I said, will you give this man a free ride to spew his theoretical garbage? And it was theoretical garbage.
Okay. So, I mean, aside Galamsey, in 6 months, this government has done, as some people put it, some good things.
Oh, yes.
What's your rating of the government 6 months on?
Well, I rate the government 70%.
Okay. That's high.
That's high. But then I have to factor in the lukewarm fight against Galamsey. And therefore, I reduce it by 10 to 60.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Galamsey must be eliminated, must be uprooted from our society. Doesn't matter who is profiting by it.
Interesting. Dr. Aidoo is a former ambassador to the Netherlands. He's a former defense minister, and we're having this chat with him. In fact, he was a member of the Consultative Assembly that drafted Ghana's 1992 Constitution. So, what's your expectation of this government? You've given them 60%, you want them to fight Galamsey, but in general, now the dollar the cedi is quite strong against the dollar and what have you. What's your general expectation of the government?
Well, so far, it's still riding the positive wave of the electorate. I'm not the one to gainsaying it. And I think he should continue and do even better.
Okay.
There are so many things that need to be done. Our roads need to be fixed. That one, he has to do it. We have very little money. And this brings me to another issue that I pointed out in 2009 when we first came to power. Dr. Kobina...
Arthur Kennedy?
No. Our own finance minister at the time.
Dufour.
Kobina Dufour was there. So were the current vice president.
Professor Nana Jane Opoku.
Yes, she was there. P.V. Obin was there. A whole host of other intelligent people and leading members of the NDC. We were at this man's resort the spa at old age.
That's fine.
Sogakope.
Oh, okay.
A retreat to discuss the steps towards economic recovery. So I said to Dr. Dufour, let's tap diasporan money. Let's tap the money that the diasporans send to their relatives. Open a second window at the Bank of Ghana. Cut out the private recipients and middlemen. Let the money come and reside in that account. Give the depositors 1 or 2%, because at that time, if you have savings in England, you aren't getting even 0.2%. So you offer the man 2%. That is very profitable. Then the government can borrow from these funds, because the condition is that it's a fixed deposit account for about 6 months or so. Less than 6 months, you can continue. And we're talking about, at that time, about 4 billion worth of remittances. We went to IMF for just 3 billion. I think Pakusi Misata then asked me, who is going to pay the interest? And I said, currently you are borrowing on your short-term 91-day securities at about 35 to 40%. When you go and borrow from the overseas markets, you pay 9% plus LIBOR. 2%, you can't pay, you are equivalent over 2%. Now, we are faced with money for this policy of big push infrastructure. At the same time, European countries, especially Netherlands, Germany, UK, etc., are overwhelmed by the migration into their territory. And you have Ghanaians who have reached retirement age. What you have to do is initiate a policy of pension follows the pensioner. They can come back to their country and receive their pension. And that pension, passed through the Bank of Ghana deposit, can be given to the government with an appreciable percentage interest. This requires a minister-to-minister approach, our foreign minister. Because when I was leaving the Netherlands, I in my handing over notes, I spelled this out, that this would be a good policy.
But the monies are for some people.
Yes.
If you keep it, for example, if my father sends me money from UK and I needed to pay my school fees now, and you keep it, how do I get it to pay my fees?
Yeah, but you see, we are talking about your loanable funds. We are not talking about money that you need for your day-to-day expenses.
Okay.
And every month, the man gets his pension, so it builds up. In Ghana, even though the cost of living is very high, it's not as high as it will be in the Netherlands or UK. Because there, electricity, transport, etc., they are all very, very expensive. So, if the man's pension follows him, the advantage is that is for the host Netherlands country, is that you remove the pull factor of migration. As he is there, his sister's son, his nephew, etc., because he's there, he's the point at which they can come to the Netherlands. If he's not there, the migration to those places will slow down.
Okay.
So you have to convince the foreign government that this is the advantage you will get so that you can manage the immigrants. And you, the proposer, also gain.
Okay.
Because the pension coming into your domain gives you the necessary foreign exchange.
So it means we have to help them relocate to Ghana?
Yes.
Okay. At the government's expense?
Oh, no.
Okay.
The man wants to come to Ghana.
Okay.
He has relatives here. Some have even put up their buildings. Some of them, because they are obliged to return to the place of their surgeon every year in order to be a notice that they are still resident in there. Yes, that's cost. But if he was in his own country and the pension is following him, there will be no need for that expensive travel.
Okay, all right.
This is diplomacy, economic diplomacy.
And that's to help the big push.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things this government says it will also do is the 24-hour economy. That's exciting also.
Oh yes, I've seen it working at the ports and harbors, where they are working 24 hours. But it's not only government establishments that constitute a target. Private sector must get in there. And what is important is that within a year of implementation, you must have results. You must be able to have impact analysis of the effects that they have so that you can see whether it's a good policy, beneficial policy or not. I don't know whether they have an M&E system. I know John Mahama doesn't believe in my M&E thing. Yeah, but I can assure you that when I went to the Netherlands, the guy who built the M&E system at the office of the president during Mills' time is the guy who came and put the missions, passport, and visa application and approval system online. It cost me only 12,000. That included his airfare, the honorarium I gave him, the rent he paid, and the acquisition of printers for the system. When I left, they discarded it and went for an alternative that cost the mission 450,000 euros every year.
Oh.
And you don't own the license. What I did was, the license was in-house, because it's in-house built. They took it to Spain, and they were printing passports with it. 12,000, 12,000. 450,000.
Every year?
Every year.
And the 12,000 was one-time payment?
You know what, it was discarded by Ayakobochi. Because you can't sign a contract without the minister's approval. And yet when I went and I saw that, then I said, no way. So I brought this guy to the Netherlands. And within 2 months, he has built a system, robust. If I show you my handing over notes, within 6 months of operating that system, we raised our revenue by more than 1,000% because of the quick turnover.
But this 24-hour economy is big. I don't know if you found a document and whether you think, for what you read, you know, everything in there can be achieved as we set out as a country.
I haven't seen the document. Okay. I was not consulted and I don't know.
But if you listen to the commentary around it?
I've listened to the commentary.
Are you moved by it?
Well, I'm moved. It's an initiative. It's an innovation. And even though when you go abroad, most cities don't sleep. They run around. I used to do nights for 10 years. I worked in the kitchen as a chef on Trimitier. For 10 years. That's what I used to school myself, all the way from my graduate studies to my postgraduate to my PhD. And I was working nice.
But the criticism of it is that people say we don't see the 133 as promised in the document.
The what?
The one job, 3 people, 3 shifts.
But if it's happening at the Port and Harbour overnight, you must deduce that it's not just one person carrying on from 8 o'clock to the next morning.
Yeah.
There must be a rota. And so follow the rota and see the extent to which the workers change their time of working.
Just that people say when we look at the document, we don't see that happening. What we see is...
You can't see it on paper.
They say what it's akin to the one district, one factory policy.
No,
that's
it
what
isn't.
They say.
It isn't. Even though I haven't read the document, I don't think it is.
Okay.
One district, one factory policy. What was it? Just giving money to cronies. It was crony capitalism at its worst.
Okay.
Giving them tax holidays and concessions. And what did they do? Every time they open their mouth, oh, a confit juice.
Anyway, we're just about wrapping up, but let me pick your thoughts on the Chief Justice and what is happening to her. You've been around too long.
Oh.
What do you make of the current happening to the CJ?
I think she has thrown caution to the winds. Either she knows that she is going to be removed, and therefore she wants a pound of flesh with a suit for $10 million as compensation for defamation. I don't know which court, whether it's our national courts or at the ECOWAS court, that she has filed this claim. Or she feels that she will win and get all the reliefs that she's hoping for. The question is, if she wins, who is she going to work with? Who is she going to work with?
The judiciary is not fighting with her.
It's not the judiciary. The judiciary and the executive must be in sync. Because they are held at arm's length doesn't mean that there must not be any interaction.
Must be independent of each other.
Interdependent, not independent.
Is that how you call it?
Sometimes we use the words and we don't seem to appreciate it. You are interdependent. The Constitution gives you the leverage of how far you can go. But we are all subject to the constitutional injunctions. Everything that President Mahama has done has been constitutionally correct. What is her beef? That her human rights has been trampled on. Which human rights? The Constitution is the one that is defining the steps to be taken. The only point at which President Mahama had the jurisdiction was the choice of whether to send you home on suspension or to retain you. And every legal-minded person will know that you cannot retain a person who is going through such inquisition at post. It will be ridiculous for the Chief Justice to be at post while she is being examined by the Constitutional Committee of 5. So the President did the obvious, logical thing. She said, stay away and let the process carry itself. Every step of the process is determined by the Constitution. And this suit for 10 million, she was the first one who put the matter in the public domain. If there is any defamation, she is the source.
How do you know she's the one?
Oh, the letter she wrote to President Mahama. President Mahama's response when she said, take 10 days, not 7 days. Who released it into the public?
But you can't point it to her.
Oh, she did it because she appended to her response her defense. She appended her defense.
You have evidence that she was the one who did it? It couldn't have been anybody from your presidency?
No. Look, she was defending the charge of dictating to the former president the appointment of 5 Supreme Court judges, for which, is it Kuku Azar, who
petitioned for her removal in December 2020.
And she defended it on the basis of the doctrine of res judicata. But res judicata is a doctrine that says that when a case has been carried through process to the point of judgment, the individual should not be tried a second time. It is what we call in common parlance double jeopardy. You are a lawyer. You are the church. You are the chief justice. The law is in your bosom. And you raise res judicata as your defense when that matter was not carried to the point of finality.
Okay.
It's like saying that the Attorney General has filed a nolle prosequi, and therefore all future Attorney Generals are stopped from invoking charges against the defendant.
Okay.
That's how it is.
So the Chief Justice should go?
I am not the one saying. The Constitution says if she's guilty of the charges, she should go.
Okay. All right. With what happened in Ablekuma North, the NDC winning, they now have 2/3 of parliament.
Yes.
People say subtly, this is something that could allow President Mahama do a third term.
That's
do you
nonsense.
think? Do you think he should do that?
That's nonsense.
Okay.
That's absolute nonsense. It's the propaganda started by Afinyo Maki that the president wants a third term. That's why he's removing the Chief Justice and so on and so forth. These people who propagate this, do you think Ghanaians are dolts? We are so stupid? We sit here criticizing other leaders who change the constitution to suit themselves. And then we accept the same thing happening in our country. They know it's not possible. It won't happen. The President Mahama will not do it. The President Mahama, I know, will not go for a third term. Therefore, he's not going to exploit the majority in Parliament.
He's enjoying an enormous goodwill. If he says he's going to go, will you be disappointed?
Yes, I would be.
Okay. Dr. Tony Aidoo, I'm grateful to you for speaking to us
My
on the
pleasure.
Joy News channel.
My pleasure. Thank you.
And that's been our interaction with a statesman, Dr. Tony Aidoo. You can catch this live on this channel and all our social media platforms. Enjoy your day.
And just like that, breakfast has been nicely served on the AM show. Now, before I say bye-bye, make your dream home a reality with EcoBank. Step into your ideal home or transform your current space into one that truly reflects your style and comfort, all with the support from EcoBank. EcoBank has once again partnered with Joy News to bring you an exciting experience at the EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair. Now, this year's edition makes your journey to a comfortable modern home even more accessible and affordable with EcoBank's Buy Now, Pay Later. You can easily renovate, upgrade, or furnish your home to suit your taste and lifestyle, whether it's elegant home decor, modern furniture, essential electronics like laptops and phones, or solar energy solutions. EcoBank has the right financing tailored to your lifestyle, from staying connected with the latest devices to embracing sustainable living or flexible consumer loans. Asset finance and salary advance products are designed to help you bring your vision to life. Enjoy competitive interest rates, convenient repayment terms, and fast approval from a bank that understands your needs. So visit our stand and take the first step towards home and lifestyle you deserve. Comfortable home starts with EcoBank. Be part of it. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank. Thank you so much for staying with us here on the show. I am Emefa Akosia Adeti. Thank you. And coming up next is Ghana Grows.